guys, and welcome back to Eldarya. So, in this video, I am playing episode 30, which is the final episode in the first season of Eldarya. So, there has been a little bit of info going around that there will be a season 2 coming up. It's called The New Age or The New Era or something like that. I don't really know. And you know, going into episode 30, I'm just expecting the worst. I have zero faith in this story anymore. Everyone's gonna die and it's gonna be horrible and I'm just not gonna have a good time. In saying that, there are some people that, I wouldn't mind if they did perish. I'm looking at you, Miko, but there are others that I really wish they would not. So I'm not sure when this season 2 is supposed to be releasing, but I can guarantee you that B-Move will slap their brand new video policy on it, which means that I won't be filming it. This is the last video that I'm going to be making for Eldarya. And I'm not really into the story anymore. I was debating not playing this episode and just kind of leaving it where it is, but I think that I just really need to see it through to the end, I'm probably not going to be playing season 2 at all, to be honest. The only thing that could get me to play season 2 is if they add Lance as a love interest, which they're not going to do. Let's be honest, they're not going to do. And I would be so surprised if he even survives this episode. So let's quit rambling, let's get into it and see exactly what happens. I'm nervous. I'm not expecting good things. Alright, episode 30 for Eldarya. The ravages of war are gradually wiping out your chances of survival, but the city is still standing, ready for battle. There's one last hope for you in this hell. Will you seize it to save your own people? Illustrations unlock 4. Okay, so 4 illustrations? Okay, let's go. Okay, and I'm not going to read the summary because we really don't need to recap that last boring episode. So do not read the summary. Start episode 30 of Eldarya. Yes, I would like to do that. I'm going to regret those words, I know it. Facing the almost godlike flames, my heart raced. I have no idea what's happening. I feel like we're picking up where we left off. I can't remember what happened. Okay, anyway. A feeling of hope came over me and I realized that whatever happened, we would win. Will you though? I'm not so sure. Still, I wondered at what cost. Foreshadowing. Everything depended on Lance, on his will to beat us, to destroy the crystal, and with it, Eldarya as a whole. But hardened by the magnificent bluish glows, I was determined not to give him the slightest chance of winning. That's probably a good idea. Wait. Miko, still speaking to the archers on the lookout, raised a firm, determined fist. My muscles were as tense as could be, taut with adrenaline. Wait, you already said that. As if we were one... Oh, maybe she's just like trying to say hold, but it's not coming out like that. As if we were one and the same person, we held our breath. My gaze remained set on the horizon. Through the wall of flames, I could see that Lance's ships continued to move forward. When the first one crossed through the blaze, Miko didn't make a move. I was starting to lose patience. What was she waiting for before launching the attack? Or another round of arrows? Why was she remaining at a standstill as our enemy got hopelessly closer? Many of the ships caught fire and sank. Their passengers were carried off by the mermaids, who were putting up a fierce fight. Much fiercer than we were, as we awaited the Kitsune's signal. The longer I waited, the angrier I got. Why? Just calm down. But deep down inside, a voice reasoned with me. Miko knew exactly what she was doing. That is so debatable. Where is this voice coming from? Because it is wrong. I had to trust her. No, you don't. Suddenly, a black silhouette ripped through the sky, flying along the wall of flames, putting it completely out. The other ships arrived very fast, and the invasion began. Black silhouette ripped through the sky. What is it? Are you going to tell us? Miko lowered her fist gracefully, determined. For Eldarya. For Eldarya. Together, we ran onto the beach and into the water, too. The battle had finally begun. Joy, let's watch everyone die. So negative. I have such a negative spin on this episode. Despite the help from the mermaids, many of Lance's companions had managed to set foot on land. The battle was fierce. For the first time in my life, I felt like I might die at any moment. You might. I had to appear stronger than them at all costs. That is when an ogre charged at me, no doubt hoping to crush me, the featherweight. I easily dodged his first attack. He may have been strong, but I had speed on my side. I just had to make use of it. Oh, do we still have to do these things? You are confronting a formidable opponent. Dodge his attacks and beat him. To do so, you're going to need to do an especially hard series of QTEs. Okay, you know what? I'm over this already. Okay, I'm ready. Let's see if we can do this. I don't feel like that was especially hard compared to the other ones. It was kind of just the same. That's exactly what I thought. He's as strong as he is slow. I managed to dodge his attacks, no trouble at all. Success. I'm so fast that he doesn't even have time to fend off my attacks. Seeing how I was getting the upper hand, my opponent headed for the stairs to try and escape. Sure he did, but I chased him. We continued fighting, and I must admit, it is much easier for me to move on firm land than in the sand. He should never have tried to escape. This terrain definitely gives me an advantage over him. After a few punches in the right places, I managed to pin him down. He is totally at my mercy now. Kill him! Even though he was our enemy. I couldn't bring myself to take his life. Without flinching, I finished off my opponent. Yeah. The more time goes by, the less regret I feel. Yes, walk the path of the demon. What's happening to me? I wonder. I should go back to the beach. That's where the battle is. That's probably a good idea. No sooner had I started walking than I heard a scream coming from the burrow. Help me! It sounds like a child's voice. Help! They're attacking me. Someone needs my help. I have to find him. As I got closer to the burrow, I recognized Milo. Milo! Cornered by two satyrs. He was crying and calling for help. Milo is so cute. What's he doing here? I thought we had evacuated all the civilians. I have to come to his rescue. Yes, you do. That's one rescue I approve of. Without thinking, I lunged at the two attackers. At first surprised to see me, they still managed to get the upper hand. I definitely had to admit that I was outnumbered. I had to find a way to fight back. Another QTE. The ground shook and a loud roar could be heard in the distance. What in the world? Caw. A seraphim swooped down from the sky into one of the satyrs. All the companions are helping, and Swartz, Chrome's chest dog, suddenly appeared next to him and attacked the other one. In a thunder-like clap, a bunch of Sabalis came galloping up and charged at the satyrs, horns first. The two attackers ran off without further ado. Other companions arrived by the dozen and headed towards the battlefield. I'm gonna tell you right now that I gave my companion a special name just for this episode. You'll find out why. You'll find out why later. Leaving the brave beast to handle things, I hurriedly straddled an Alcapefel thing passing nearby and went to join Milo, numb with fear. Oh, come on, Milo, climb on. Oh my god. The little Myconid didn't budge, fearfully considering the growing flames radiating from the creature's back. Don't worry, they won't burn you. Really? For sure. I'm riding and they're not hurting me. Don't you see? Alright, come on, get on. I'll take you back to HQ. Still wary, the little Myconide... Isn't it supposed to be Myconide? Climbed on the Alcapeffer and realised that the flames weren't hot. So here you go, we're back. I went to see the guards so they'd open the gates and take care of the child. You also need to find a way to get him to a safe place. We can't afford to have civilians inside HQ during the battle. Right, Miss Airy. Also, try to find out why he wasn't evacuated with the others. I'm going back into battle! Alright, Miss Airy. I have to get back to the beach as fast as possible. My friends need me. The battle was raging. In front of me, members of HQ and Lance's partisans were fighting each other. Between the screams of anger and the sound of weapons clanging against each other, I was disoriented. I no longer knew which way to turn. But a voice pulled me out of my sluggish state. Watch out! In a leap, Nevra saved me from a banshee's claws. The angered banshee began screaming at us. A shrill scream drove me out of my mind. To the cliff. We have to go to the cliff. What? Follow me. Okay! There's a lot of random running around in this battle. The banshee's screams continue ringing in my ears. The noise is unbearable. And we aren't the only ones to have sought shelter here. Chimeria and Eldarya are here too. But why? Why didn't we go straight back to HQ? Because you're in the middle of a battle. Oh, okay. A veil fell all around the creature, whose voice gradually went silent. The banshee was now trying to communicate and ask us what was going on. A faint death rattle could be heard before the creature ran off. Even though she got a warning, others are going to show up. We can't stay here, it's too dangerous. But where can we go? To the plains. We set lots of traps there, more than here in any case. Britta, blow the horn. We're launching phase 2 of our plan. Oh, you actually have a plan. The sound of the war horn rang out through the air, and we all realised what it meant. As for our enemies, they seemed confused by our army's unusual move. The enemy is increasingly oppressive, and as Eldarya had predicted, the banshees didn't take her warning seriously. They're swarming towards us. Fortunately, Eldarya and her sister are in tip-top shape, and they get rid of them one after another. I can't hold up much longer, Ellie. I'm going to run out of energy soon. Blah 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 blah. We have to hold up a little longer still. We're almost there. Blah 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 blah. Even though it's not the right time at all. I can't keep from admiring how strong and brave they are acting. I have to come to their rescue. Oh, joy. Let's just rescue everyone, shall we? Come on, Aerie. Try to remember the words they say. Oh, my God. Oh, really? These were almost exactly the same. Almost. I don't know, this one. The banshees looked at me scornfully. Looks like I made a mistake trying to recite the incantation. You think? Good try. But if you... What an idiot. Good try, but if you don't know the exact words, it's pointless. Yeah, you tell her. I mean, you tell me. I felt ridiculous. Sorry. I'm so glad I picked the wrong one. We have to retreat towards the plain as fast as we can. Once on the plains, we got the upper hand over the banshees in no time. In the past few days, we set lots of traps around HQ, and I'm pleased to see they've been very effective. Almost all of us made it. For some reason, I was thinking I was going to say, almost all of us made it past the traps. Oh, that's so dumb. After quickly catching our breath, we got our army organised. Nevra, Ezreal, and Valkion are together, positioned on the front line and leading the troops. Leaftan isn't far behind them. He's holding 2 daggers in his hands, and I can tell by the look in his eyes how determined he is to win the fight. As for Miko, she is proudly riding a Kyra Magnus, demonstrating the Guard of Owl's unity. Around her, Okay, cool. There's all those companions there. She's surrounded by countless companions, visibly all wound up by the coming fight, showing off their clangs, fangs, claws, or barbs. Fangs, clangs, or bangs. As Chimeria had predicted, the infamous Valkyries made their entrance on their flying war horses. Accompanied by their loyal something, many of them were forced to back up when faced with the runes we had set out here and there. They weren't the only ones caught like that. Satires, so many words. A wide range and substantial number of fairies had pledged allegiance to Lance, many more than we had imagined. I wonder why. But for once, we had planned for almost everything. Victory wasn't within our reach yet, but we were far from being defeated. With that thought, I felt relieved, but that moment of calm didn't last long. When it became clear to the Valkyries that they couldn't attack us, they rushed towards the forest. At a glance, Chimeria and I realized they were going to go after the Hamadryads populating that territory. Miko! Eri, Israel, Nevra, Valkion, and Leifton, go with Chimeria. Even though we posted guards in the forest to protect it, you'll have your work cut out for you fighting the Valkyries and their lower ranks. Got it. Let's pair off. How convenient. Are you sure splitting up is a good idea? Aren't you afraid we'll be outnumbered? It'll be fine. The Valkyries only have one... What is that? And only fight with them. You know a lot about the Valkyries. Yeah, suspiciously a lot. Yes, I started the initiation before knowing the real nature of the things. I gazed at Chimeria, wide-eyed. We'll talk about it some other time, if you don't mind. No, we won't. Of course. Eri, follow me. Chimeria and Valkion teamed up, while Israel had to put up with Leifton. Poor thing. Oh, you poor thing. Good luck to all of you. Let's go. Actually, you know what? I think putting up with Israel is the harder task. No, I kid. I started off giving Israel a lot of shit, but he's become my buddy, so it's all good now. Over here, there's a Hamadryad grappling with an... I don't even know what that is. We have to save it. Let Nevra handle the situation. Rush towards the thing. Shout at the... Why would you shout at it? You're going to give up any advantage you have. I'm not letting Nevra do shit. Let's rush towards it. Without thinking, I rushed at the thing to attack it. Surprised, it narrowly escaped. Oh, did I pick the wrong one? It narrowly escaped and began chanting its Valkyrie's name. She got there just seconds later, her eyes devoured by the desire to kill. I'll take care of her. All right. Do your thing. Each of us fought our opponent with courage and zeal. The Hamadryad took the opportunity to flee and reach a safer place. Thanks for the help. Just as I thought we were getting the upper hand, a shockwave swept through the forest. The Valkyrie stopped on the spot, and only after a glance, she and her took off. What's going on? No idea, but we don't have time to play guessing games. The forest needs us. We arrived too late. The bodies of 3 Hamadryads are lying on the ground. It's dreadful. I get a lump in my throat, and I feel my heart racing. We should vacate the premises. Who says that? We should vacate the premises. I agree. I heard a scream coming from a huge bush. Then I saw a Valkyrie come out of it, looking frightened before getting caught in the creepers. I'm not helping. Apparently this Hamadryad didn't need our help. She had defended herself very well on her own. You go, girl. By the Oracle, that's Ebony's old friend, the one who was staring at me the other day. She moved closer to us. I feel my heart pounding harder and harder. I'm afraid she's going to take this as a chance to get back at me. Even though I'm not alone, in such troubled times, I'm doubting everything and everyone. But another shockwave interrupted the showdown we might have had. They've started the ritual. What ritual? Follow me. We have to get to the heart of the forest. Who are you? I'm not going to just follow some random... Well, I guess I have to, but, some random shadow to God knows where. We arrived in the depths of the forest and saw some 20 hamadryads grouped together around Evany's ancient tree. They're reciting incantations in a language I don't know. Chimeria is with them. When she sees me, she walks over to us. What's going on? There aren't enough guard reinforcements to protect the forest and the population there, so we're going to seal it off from any harmful presence. We're going to try the same spell that Evany used. We need to protect them until the ritual has been performed. Right. The Valkyries will most likely be onto us here soon. I pulled an arrow out of my quiver and knocked it on the bowstring. Suddenly, a battle cry rang out from the sky, signaling the start of the attack. Oh, God. The hamadryads are about to cast a very powerful spell, but to do so, they need to concentrate, protect them from being attacked by the Valkyries until the end of the ritual. Here we go again. Even though there are more and more Valkyries, we are managing to hold up. As we were struggling to fend off the Valkyries, I saw the forest change right before my eyes. The hamadryads gradually disappeared as if they had never been there, and a protective veil began surrounding each tree. But at precisely that moment, a dazzling blue glow struck down in the middle of the now empty plains. Oh! The thud of a body falling to the ground was heard, and a second later, Chimeria's silhouette reappeared before me. What is going on? I'm so confused. What? Her back was on... Oh, I see what's happening. Her back was on fire. I looked up at the sky and saw a dragon spewing bluish flames. Right away, I realized it was Lance. Yes! Can we switch sides? I'm ready. I'm ready to switch sides right now. Overcome with rage, sure, I wanted to go after him, but had no idea how. But Chimeria's agonizing screams brought me back to reality. Is she okay? Chimeria is hurt. Let's get back to HQ. All right. No sooner had we left the plains than I sensed the forest closing its doors on us. I'm afraid of what awaits us now that the Valkyries can no longer get back in. Oh, hell yes. Lance was waiting for us at the edge of the forest, escorted by Valkyries and other fairies. We are outnumbered. It's impossible for us to beat them, but we have no choice. We're going to have to make our way through. If we don't go back to HQ fast, Chimeria won't make it. I turn to face my companions. Their sad eyes. Their eyes send a clear message. They think the same thing as me. In unison, we set out on the battlefield. It was a tough fight for us since we were outnumbered, but our determination to save our friend made us 10 times stronger. Amidst the chaos, the racket of twisted metal and screams, we marched on. We have to hold up until we reach the gates of HQ. The gates of HQ, at last, we're almost there. However, I'm starting to have doubts. Even though we are outnumbered, I think we're handling things far too easily. All Lance is doing is flying overhead, his dragon silhouette tracing circles in the sky. What's he up to? Well, I would say he's just being a dragon. What else do you expect him to do? In a moment of respite, Valkian slipped into stride next to me. Something's wrong. It looks like our enemy is holding back his strength. He has a name, God. I was thinking the exact same thing. We should keep our guard up. That's pretty obvious. And we were right. We were only a few yards away from the gates of HQ when Lance spewed a torrent of icy blue flames, forming a circle around us and holding us prisoner. Lance's minions took place around the circle of fire, taunting and laughing at our despair. The dragon landed and returned to his human form. Yes! He walked towards the burning wall, looking at us with contempt. You can look at me with contempt all day. I'm so terrible. Time seemed to stand still. I couldn't even hear the wind anymore. You people, don't even try to get close, or you'll end up a pile of ashes. Yeah, whatever. I clenched my fist, and I get the impression I'm not the only one who did. Okay. I can feel how frustrated my comrades are. Falcon, I'm giving you one last chance to join me. Oh, Falcon, what about me? I will join you, gladly. You're crazy, Lance. I refuse to follow you in your madness. Lance's face twisted into an awful snare. Then die. Leaping, Lance lunged at... I don't think I'm going to be laughing for much longer. Leaping, Lance lunged at his brother. His eyes full of unimaginable rage, ready to take his life. Excuse you, Falcon's my new buddy. You cannot do that to him. Okay, I'm not laughing. It's not funny. Falcon! Crap. Oh my god. Did he... What happened? Oh. Ezreal! What have you done? Oh my god, what has he done? Okay, what has he done? Ha ha ha, what a worthless bunch you are. But what has Ezreal done? Before I could understand what had just happened, Lance transformed back into a dragon and took off into the sky while Ezreal... What's happening? What's happening to my buddy Ezreal? While Ezreal, having fallen into Valkyrian's arm, was on the verge of bleeding to death. What? What? Ezreal, what have you done? You dummy? I was beside him in no time. He has a chest wound. His white jacket is soaked in blood. What the fuck, Ezreal? By the Oracle, Ezreal, I could have... Ezreal, you moron, what have you done? Don't say that to him, he's dying! Ezreal, you're going to be okay. Don't move. Yes, let's be rational. You're going to be fine, but maybe you're not. I don't tell him that. He doesn't need to know that. You're going to be okay, Ezreal. We're going to save you, buddy. Ezreal is about to pass out. I'm totally petrified. Oh my god, Ezreal, who do you think you are just trying to die on me? Like, this is not acceptable. If you die, I'm gonna kill you. I hold his hand in mine. It's shaking. Doesn't even hurt. Quiet, Ez, don't say a word. It's going to be okay, I promise. We have to get into the infirmary right now. Eri, I'm going to pass out. But if I ever make it, when I wake up, Ezreal smiles faintly. Oh god, you're such a dick. I wouldn't say no to a double ration of honey and a few cookies. He's gonna be fine! He's gonna be fucking fine. He's still joking. Tears well up in my eyes as Ezreal closes his and passes out. Valkyrian and I stayed silent for a little while, feeling helpless. Do something! Our enemy's gloating laughter rang out in the sky. In no time, the bursts of joy from his partners came echoing back in response. What a dick. I mean, I still love him, but what a dick. And the more they laughed, the more my sadness turned into rage. The noise and the feeling of satisfaction caused a vicious hatred to grow inside me. I dried my tears and clenched my fists. The rage was growing inside me, but should I let it burst out or restrain? Let it burst out. Once again, I was torn between my conflicting emotions. Give me a choice. Give me this choice, because you know what I'm gonna do. At exactly that moment, we saw a blue bolt of lightning rip through the sky. Like a heavenly vision, I saw... She is not a heavenly vision. I saw Miko in levitation. Her eyes were the color of the lightning. Behind her was the guard's entire army still standing, weapons raised, surrounded by that same celestial aura. They pushed Lance and his sidekicks back long enough for us to get through the gates of HQ. Then they closed the gates back up, leaving the dragon to be crushed against the wall of the shield. He tried with all his might to break it, before freezing in his tracks. His gaze seemed focused on Liftan. Right afterwards, an impressive blaze of blue flames struck the shield, but the shield held strong. I let out a sigh of relief upon seeing how effective our protection was. But behind me, Chimeria and Ezra were agonizing. Take them to the infirmary immediately. Nevra and Valkion carried Ezreal, while Liftan and Valerian took care of Chimeria. Miko, what happened? I'm the one who should be asking you that question, but I don't really have time right now. We'll catch up with each other later. Alright. The crowd was gone in the blink of an eye. And I just stood there, gaping, in a daze due to the turn of events. I can hear music and I have no idea where it's coming from because I turned the music down. Are they forcing music on us? I hope you can't hear it because it sounds really loud, so you probably won't be able to hear my voice. But anyway. My mind is strangely numb. The world seems muffled and I'm walking without knowing where I'm headed. Was that the end of the battle? I'm confused. Without really even knowing why. I don't really even feel frightened. Perhaps we are all going to die. Perhaps. I have no idea, but I'm too worn out to be afraid. My mind keeps wandering, constantly thinking back on the battle, which I'm pretty sure is still going on. The screams of men and women, the sound of arrows whirring by, the howling of the banshees, the chaos of the confrontation. Every time I close my eyes, I see the blood on Israel's chest again, the flames on Chimeria's back, and Lance's crazed look behind a wall of blue flames. I ended up collapsing next to the central pavilion. The image of the battle keeps coming back to me over and over again. The noise of iron hitting iron, even the wind blowing on the beach, everything comes violently back to me. I can't get the battle out of my head. Oh my god, it just happened. A battle that brought down 2 of my friends. I have to find out if they are safe and sound. That's a great idea. Let's go do that. I came hurtling into the infirmary as Eveline looked on, stunned. What are you doing here? I wanted to know how Chimeria and Ezra were doing. Ezra was out of danger. His wound wasn't as deep as we thought. As for Chimeria, her tree was completely burned. Eveline, please, tell me she isn't... She's okay. What? But I thought that once their tree died, Hamadryad's... I don't know how such a miracle is possible, but among her tree's ashes, we found a sprout. Stop taking me for a fool. I wasn't bored yesterday. What? A sprout? What do you mean? Really, what a relief. I'm so happy. This makes no sense, but I'm going to pick it anyway. I'm not lying, Eri. I don't know how it's possible. Oh. Oh, that's a real relief then. Thanks. Tell me about it. We already have a lot of losses in our ranks. I don't know if I could have stood adding 2 more. Well, I'm sorry to kick you out, but I'm exhausted. I've been providing care non-stop. I'd like to rest a little, even if it's only 10 minutes. I understand. If you need help, let me know. Ellie. All's well. Yep, that person, is doing her best to help me out, and you're already pretty busy. Take advantage of this lull to get some rest. You're right. Hang in there, Eveline. Thanks, Eri. You're welcome. I don't really feel like resting. More than anything, I want to know how everyone is doing. After such a tough battle, it's not even over. What matters to me is knowing that my friends are all okay. Miko and Huang Hua are in the middle of a conversation. I'd better not bother them. Eri, how are you? Or, I'm fine, and you? Still alive. Uh-huh. Unfortunately. Miko was worn out from the fight, both mentally and physically, even though she's acting like everything's fine, right? Please forgive me, but I have to go and pray to the crystal. Miko, you should get a little rest. Okay, hang in there. Miko, you shouldn't overdo it. Hang in there? I don't know. As Miko walks off, Wang Hua folds her arms and frowns. What? Nothing. Shut up! Shut up. Nothing. Let's just say I wish you had been a little more supportive this time. Bitch. Okay, when has Miko ever been supportive of us? Oh my god, this enrages me. Huh? Wang Hua said goodbye and left to pray to the crystal with Miko. You know what? You go. You go with her. Catch you later. What did I say wrong? Nothing. Absolutely nothing. What a dick. Valkian is wandering around HQ like a lost soul. I get the feeling I should go talk to him. Valkian, buddy, what's up? Hey Valkian, what are you... He got hurt because of me. It's not your fault, Valkian. Ezreal is the one who made that choice. You couldn't have kept him from doing it. Besides, he's fine. He's fine, he's just being dramatic. He could have been killed. I couldn't face my brother, so Ezreal did it instead of me. It's unforgivable. Oh, excuse you? Valkyrie ran away from me. Bye. Leave him alone. Try to catch him. Shout his name. Oh my god, I should really leave him alone. I think he needs to be alone. He sounds so distressed, so sad too. I get a lump in my throat, imagining the pain he must be feeling. Hey, Leaftan's here. What's he up to? What's he up to this time? He's moving bodies. Oh. Go ask him why he's doing that. Go back the way you came. Why are you doing that? These are the stupidest options. Go back the way you came. No, I'm gonna go talk to him. Why are you doing that? Leaftan, what are you doing? Don't stay here, Eri. Please, I don't want you to see this. Go away! You go away. Okay. Oh, alright then, bye. Nevra is as white as a sheet. Probably because he's a vampire. He's really scaring me. You okay? Yes, why are you asking? Why do you think? You look very pale. Do you need blood? Oh my god, because I'd be happy to give it to you, like every other time. Oh really? You think so? Is it because of your blood deficiency? Yes, that's part of the reason. Since I don't assimilate blood as well as I used to, I need big amounts. Can't HQ give you more? Why don't you ask one of the... Why don't you ask one of the HQ members to give you a little of theirs? No, I don't think so. You want some? You want some? Feel free, I don't mind. I have plenty to give. I already take enough from you as it is. I'll give you as much as you need. Eri, you are really the perfect woman. I know. He kissed me tenderly before leaving. Wait, do you want the blood or not? You have to admit, he has lots to do, poor thing. Are you sure of yourself, Kiro? Absolutely, yes. What's going on? Good timing, come with me. Kiro, call the others together, please. We went to the crystal room. Miko looks very grim. That's not a good sign. She didn't say a word until everyone was there. Huang Hua, Kiro, Jamon, Evelyn, Nevra, Valkian, and Ezreal, seated in an armchair. Mind telling me what exactly is going on? Lance has just offered us a deal. Of course he has. What deal? He agrees to let all the fairies who so desire go back to Earth. Where's the scam? I'm getting to that. In exchange, he wants Leaftan. Give him to him. Give him. I'll go as well. Leaftan. Why him want Leaftan? He hates Leaftan. He wants to kill him. Oop. But if our lives are really and truly connected, handing over Leaftan would be signing my death warrant. Just the thought of it makes me feel wobbly. I mustn't let anything show. I have to stay calm. He hates him and most likely wants to kill him. What did you decide, Miko? I still have no idea. I have an idea. Why don't we give him Miko to kill instead? That would be a joy. How can we be sure that Lance really and truly has everything needed for sending the fairies back to Earth? He sent us what's needed for opening 2 portals, and he promises to give us the time we need to open them. In return, we have to hand Leaftan over to him before midnight. Behind Miko, I saw a big box that contained lots of artifacts, including one that I'm familiar with, a dragon tear. That was the ingredient that Lance had stolen when I arrived at HQ. Israel had shown me an etching a few days later to find out if I had seen the object in the lab. It's a trap. You sound very sure of yourself. If I believe my spies, there appear to be several boxes this size. Even if there are, every time one of us has trusted him, it has turned against us. He took Eri hostage. Yeah, it was great. When she agreed to talk to him, he threw her off the top of a cliff. Yeah, that wasn't great. When Valkian agreed to follow him to save her life, Valkian frowned. He's ashamed of his acts and of his brothers, even if it's not his fault. He sent Enthra to kill both of you when you agreed to make a deal. Yeah, right. I think we see your point. Lance is not really worthy of our trust. You think? Isabel responded with a persuasive look. All of the others shrugged their shoulders, hard to argue with him. As for me, I nod energetically. Yes, it's most likely a trap. Let's not risk it. Couldn't we go ahead and open 2 portals with what he sent us, even if we refuse his deal? I thought about it out of desperation, but the only portal that would be accessible to us is at the bottom of the water in the prison, and opening a portal takes a lot of time. Lance will never give us enough time to act. And even then, Miko gave him an annoyed look. Don't look at my friend like that, you... Okay, let's carry on. It takes more than that to discourage Israel. Lance provided us the hardest to find ingredients, and that's all to his credit, but not the basic ones, the ones that are easily found in the forest. Very smart. So smart. The forest between us and the one where Lance and his army are. If we want to open portals, whatever happens, we'll have to fight or meet his request. Shouldn't you have basic ingredients? I don't know, like in the alchemy lab? Makes sense. We can't sacrifice Leaftan's life without being sure that what he's saying is true. Also, don't forget that risking Leaftan's life may mean potentially risking Ares. Yeah! Someone said it at least. Nevra's right. There's a 50% chance that Ares will die if Leaftan does, and a 90% chance that Leaftan will die if we hand him over to Lance. 90%. Just add another 10 onto that. I had a hard time swallowing. All of a sudden, a dreadful doubt popped into my head. Would they hand me over to save their world? Miko would. Without a doubt. And what if that were the best thing to do? Would I be capable of making that decision? I know, that's why I called a meeting. I'd like you to give it some serious thought. I don't feel up to taking all the responsibility alone this time. She's seriously thinking about it. Take your time. I have to share the news with the main interested party. Can we just kill her and just... Oh, I'm so sick of her. Got it. I'll take care of passing on the information to the rest of HQ. Why? Why would you tell them all? Are we still aiming for total transparency? No! You're gonna get a mob trying to hand Leaftan over. Yes, but wait about half an hour until I've spoken to Leaftan about it first. God. This is so dumb. She could have taken the same precautions with me and announced it to me in private. My head is spinning. I feel crushed by the weight of the news. Got it. Miko left the room, followed by all the others soon afterwards. I just stood there without moving. This is so dumb. Petrified by the revelations, I didn't dare say anything, not knowing what to think. And everyone just left us standing here on our own. They don't deserve us. We should just change sides right now. Lance's strategy is extremely unsettling. Is this yet another trap? Even if there's a good chance that that's the case, can we risk thousands of lives based on that hunch? And what about me? What about me? Am I capable of sacrificing my life in the hope that it's enough? Well, I know that Erica is, but I don't know about me. But if it were enough, would I be capable of agreeing to that? No, I'm just gonna save myself. Oh, now you want to talk. Okay, Eri, I was looking for you. I wanted to know what you think about the situation as far as Leaftan's concerned. Well, you know, you didn't want to talk to me earlier when you ran away. I was looking for you for the same reason. I don't know where I stand yet. On one hand, I think that if we have the chance to save innocent lives, we have to without any second thoughts. No, I'm not going to hand him over to be killed. But on the other hand, and it's selfish, I'm not sure I'm willing to sacrifice my life for this world. I would 100% not sacrifice my life for this world or these people. Not at all. That's normal. It's not an easy choice to make. Do you think I'd be resented if I chose to live? I'm totally lost. What would you do if you were me? It should be. I shouldn't even have to think twice when so many innocent lives are at risk. I'm not picking that one. I don't care if I'd be resented or not. Let's try this one. I don't know what I'd do if I were you, Eri. I can't tell you what to do as if I were as directly concerned as you are. But remember, your life and Leaftan's are as precious as all the others. I don't think we should give in to this blackmail. Oh, thank you. Someone actually cares. But there's so much at stake. We'll find another way to save them. You're entitled to want to live, Eri. Oh, Falcon. You're my new best friend. He gave me a tender, reassuring smile. There are sure to be people who don't agree with me. You should talk to them about it. No, fuck those people. That's what I plan to do. Fuck. For sure. Thanks, Falcon. Done. He left too soon. Damn it. Oh, he is my new best friend. I love him. I would have liked to talk about the way he reacted earlier when he ran off. I started talking about the situation with Karudo and Twilda. I guess I shouldn't have brought it up, because they got in a nasty argument. Karudo better be on my side, I swear to God, he better be on my side. Karudo? What? You're kidding, I hope. Of course that bastard should be thrown to the wolves. That's all he deserves. Do you really want to stoop to that, Karudo? Really? And what about all the tolerance and compassion you were going on about just yesterday, huh? What happened to all the pretty speeches about the fairies being united to save the world? Was that a bunch of baloney? But now, this is... He didn't... You know what, Karudo? You're just an old, bitter background, whatever that is. Karudo bowed his head. Oh, it's a goat, isn't it? It's a goat. Grumbling, but didn't answer back. You got told. Well now, I would never have imagined Twilda could stand up to Karudo like that. She really surprised me. You go, girl. Oh, Eri, is something wrong? Is something wrong? Well, I mean, on top of everything that's going on, what a dumb question. I wanted your opinion about Lance and him blackmailing us. Not that it matters to me, I just wanted to ask, just, you know, for funsies. Oh, Kara started blushing and looked away. He totally thinks we should be sacrificed. Look at him. Oh, he does. To be honest, I don't know what to tell you. Still, Leaftan killed Yakar. Doesn't that influence your opinion about him? Meaning, you must have an opinion. After all, you hate Leaftan, don't you? I want to say this one. Spit it out, Kiro. Well, we're still talking about a man's life, Leaftan. I don't know if I'm qualified to make a judgment despite everything he did against this guard. But at the same time, we're talking about saving hundreds or even thousands of lives. I'm lost. I get it. I get it. You're a dick, just like the rest of them. What about you? What do you think? I haven't made up my mind yet. Like you, I'm aware it's someone's life we're dealing with. But there are so many factors to take into account. I admit, I'm a little bit lost too. I'm not lost. I don't want to do it. I don't want to hand Leaftan over because that means that I'm going to die as well. I don't want to do that. I would like to live. Strangely enough, what you've said is reassuring, Eri. Here I was thinking, oh, I was the only one. I can't read properly. I was the only one who didn't know what position to take. We're most likely not the only ones, Kero. Kero, sorry to bother you, but could I have a word with you? No, we're busy. We're talking, can't you see? Kero looked at me as if asking for my consent. I nodded my head. Yes, come in. See you later, Eri. Bye. Me not come back. Lance really be a bad guy. Yes, he is a bad guy. But so good. That's for sure. Jamon is talking to Kalaya about Lance's blackmail. I walk over to them. Are they a thing now? Like, I'm so confused. So, what do you think about all this? Me, what I think. me think we not give Leaf Tan. Yes! Yes! He's on my side! Because you have maybe bond with him. Not to mention that Leaf Tan has been working hard on making amends. Just look at what he's handling right now. She's referring to the bodies of the HQ members we lost. He volunteered right away for the most thankless menial task. Probably because he's used to seeing dead bodies, you know? Been a murderer and all. Still, that doesn't mean he's a good man, does it? Eri, listen. listen, Jamon. Leaf Tan have make much mistakes, but Leaf Tan want to make amends. Because him love you much and him understand that him be stupid. I love him. I love Jamon. Oh my god. That was a great speech. You did so good. We be wiser. Oh, he's still going. All right. We be wiser. We must to forgive for to move on. For to show better paths so Leaf Tan become good man. Great speech. I love it. You're doing so good. Oh, he's still going. Okay. Love, forgiveness, compassion, be signs, wisdom. Are you done? I swallowed hard several times, thinking about what Jamon said. Love, forgiveness, and compassion. Will I be capable of that after all these betrayals? Eldarya and Karen are arguing about Leaf Tan. I don't care what either of these bees think. Sorry, Eldarya, but I can't be as clear-cut as you. You should be. He tried to kill Chrome after all. True, but I don't know how to explain it. Call it instinct, but I sense he's changed. That's nonsense. Eri, reason with her. No! So that she'll agree with you? Let her make up her own mind, Eldarya. Don't get me involved in your argument. Personally, I don't even know what to think about this whole mess yet. Ellie, how do you expect me to reason with her? Either the first or the second one. Let's go this one. It's really selfish of you, you tell her, to try and force her to agree with you without giving it any thought. That's not what I meant. I'm just what? A little too stubborn? Yes, I agree with that. Shut up. Mind leaving Ellie alone, Eri? Sure, we're having a fairly heated discussion and she doesn't give me much of a chance to say what I think. Oh, I can't stand these people anymore. But I'm not stupid and I'm not going to change my mind because my best friend thinks one thing or another. Give me another choice. Give me another one. Who do you think I am? Am I dreaming or has the situation just turned? I was defending her and now they are ganging up on me. Who cares? Come on, Ellie, let's go talk somewhere else. You bitches. Bye. Okay. I ventured out to see Evelyn in the infirmary. She's talking to Israel and with Chrome, who seems to be in great shape. Probably because he wasn't even fighting. I listened carefully to the points they were making. I can't say, yeah, he has to be sacrificed, given my own mistakes. That would be really, really hypocritical of me. Yeah, it would. Even though I feel like killing him after what he did to me. I totally get your drift, Chrome. Personally, I don't want to take any risks without being sure that his offer is genuine. I don't want any pointless sacrifices. Her gaze landed sadly on me. Chrome knows nothing about a possible connection between Leaf Tan and me. That's why everything is just being implied. What about you, Israel? Huh? You gonna sacrifice me too? I stand firm. Okay, no. We're still friends, it's okay. I stand firm, it's a trap. Having said that, as far as sacrificing Leaf Tan, if it only involved him, I would have handed him over without any other form of a trial, just in case. Meaning, who else does it involve? Did I miss out on something? Don't tell Chrome anything. You know what? I'm going to tell you, Chrome, and pass it around to your little buddies so everyone knows. Everyone knows that they want to sacrifice me. Chrome, there's something you don't know about me. My life and Leaf Tan's are probably connected. Connected, meaning we think that if he dies, I die. What? How's that possible? A few months ago, here we go. Big story. I almost died and Leaf Tan gave me part of his life. Since then, we've noticed that when he's not well, neither am I. But has anything been proven? Well, you know, should we just kill him and see what happens, Chrome? No, I haven't had the chance to do the necessary tests yet. In that case, why are we talking about it? Why are we talking about it now? No risks are to be taken. We are not sacrificing Aerie, period. Yes, go Chrome. It's not as simple as that, Chrome. It is as simple as that. It really, really is. Of course it is. It's as simple as that. Have you all gone crazy or what? Isabel let out a deep sigh. We went on talking for a little while, and my position in the matter seemed to tip the balance in Leaftan's favour. The situation is really complicated. What is going on here? On one side, there's Puri and Pearl, who are yelling at Puroi and Puriko. I tried to make out what they were saying, imagining they were talking about Leaftan's future. But not at all. In fact, they seem to be in the throes of another argument about money. They are so great. Ouch. A typical Puriko topic. I'd be better off staying out of it. So, what do you think about the situation? Honestly, I have mixed feelings. What do you mean? Leaftan caused us so much harm. If I only listened to myself, to my hatred, I'd hand him over without a second thought. But we still don't know if your life depends on his. I refuse to risk losing you. It's selfish, I know, but that's the way it is. And even besides that, I don't want to stoop so low. We aren't animals. Sorry, I'm not letting you get a word in edgewise. Don't be. You need to speak your mind. Would you rather let Lance win? It's an extremely tricky situation. This one. Stop being so nice and tell me when I talk too much. I'm not being nice. I'm telling you the truth. If you need to talk, talk. Oh, I swear. Nevra rolled his eyes before kissing me tenderly. What about you? What do you think, Aerie? Do I even get a choice? Probably not. For now, it's hard to say. I have several feelings all mixed up inside me. That's why I'm asking just about everyone their opinion about the situation. I want to be holding all the cards before I make up my mind. I'm going to do the same. Ask the others for their opinions. Why? Oh god, this is such a stupid situation. I caught Miko talking to Wanghua. They're talking about your car, and in the kitsune's voice, I sense all the sorrow and resentment she feels. Once again, I'm dealing with some very different points of view. Apparently, the situation doesn't sit well with anyone. I feel torn. There's what I want to do and what I should do. I'm afraid of not being objective enough. That's perfectly normal. You are in a difficult position. Even though you're the leader of the Guard of El, Leaftan caused you harm personally. I, for one, don't feel objective. I refuse to sacrifice Aerie, even though my duty as a Phoenix apprentice would require me to do it to save as many as possible. Miko noticed me. Aerie, did you hear us? I didn't mean to spy, but you realize you're putting a hell of a burden on my shoulders. I can imagine, and I'm sorry about that. No, you're not. Don't be. You aren't the only one to have emphasized the fact that if Leaftan dies, I may die too. But I'm starting to tell myself that that shouldn't come into play. After all, am I really so important to this world? Not to this world, but you're important to yourself. You have to be. Aerie, don't say that, please. It's the truth. You? I shouldn't be part of the equation. I'm sick of saying her name all the time. These faces grew dark immediately. Their faces grew dark immediately. It was better for me to leave them to their thoughts. Can we go and do something interesting for once? Undeniably, Leaftan's name is on everyone's lips, and they seem to have very mixed feelings. Even though the prospect of being able to open a portal is extremely tempting, a lot of the Guard members don't want to give in to Lance's wishes. I haven't been able to make up my mind yet. I'm totally overwhelmed. Nevra sees the dilemma as a moral issue. Valkyrian thinks that since every life is precious, we can't sacrifice 2 lives to save 100,000. And Ezreal is avoiding the question, saying that, regardless of what he thinks, it's a trap. He's got the brains. And as if the situation weren't already complicated enough, my life's in the balance. I'll most likely be sent to the slaughterhouse if we hand Leaftan over to Lance. But if I refuse to sacrifice myself for whatever reason, I'm not sure I can bear the burden of all those lives we could have saved. There's only one person in this world who can understand what I'm going through today. Leaftan. Yes. But where is he? Who knows? Oh, he was in his room. Who would have thought? I knocked on his bedroom door, my hands trembling. Eri, what are you doing here? Lieutenant's hands are covered in dirt and blood. I swallowed hard several times, imagining him burying bodies as the devastated families looked on. Why is he smiling? Well, he was smiling. Something wrong? The words can't get past my lips. It's about Lance's request, isn't it? I still can't say a word. What do you think about it? Why is this a choice? I feel like it means something. I'm gonna not say anything, just to extend the drama. My eyes are teary. I can't look him in the eye. I see... What? No, I have not! I see you've made up your mind. The fact that you agreed... Where did you get that from? Because that is not what I was thinking. I see you've made up your mind. The fact that you agreed to hand me over, I get it. But you're going to risk your own life. God, I hate this game. You can still read me just as easily. Until a few days ago, I liked that. You are definitely the best one of us, Eri. I won't go against your decision. I'm behind you. Let's go tell the others. No! I fucking hate this game. Okay, this is one of those times I wish I could go back and choose something different, but this is what I've picked, even though that is not what I meant. Even though it wasn't easy, Lieutenant, you made up your minds. I literally said nothing. I said nothing. Oh, I fucking hate this. There's such a big crowd gathered here. They're all eyeing us with hopeful, compassionate looks. Please give me another choice. I feel a shiver run through my whole body as I make my way through the crowd. And when Miko saw us... Oh, for fuck's sake. And when Miko saw us, she understood right away. Her eyes glazed over. Fuck off. I walked up the stairs to the hall of doors. Oh, you fucking... Maybe it wasn't a choice. Maybe this happens every time. I can handle it a bit better if this happens every time. Anyway. Announced to the guard members that Lieutenant and I had decided to surrender to Lance. Oh boy. I made eye contact with Nevra. Oh shit. His face went blank. His jaw clenched. I'm so sorry. Obviously, lots of them wondered about my involvement in this mess, and I had to explain the bond between us. I'm shaking all over. A whisper ran through the crowd. No way. He had spoken calmly, but his tone was so sharp that everyone fell silent. Oh, okay, I did not say it the way he said it. That everyone fell silent and turned around to look at him. As members of the Guard of El, we categorically refused to stoop to handing over one of our own. Several other fairies came forward to say the same thing, and I felt my heart banging in my chest. Lieutenant, despite your faults, you are still a fairy, and it is the Guard of El's duty to protect you. Those words seem to cost her, but her voice does not waver. As for you, Eri, you are in many of our hearts. The sacrifice that you are about to make... Wait, is this still happening? Is yet another demonstration of your goodness. We talked before you arrived, and we made a decision. We will no longer bargain with our enemy. Oh, thank God. We will no longer let you bear such burdens on your shoulders alone, Eri. Oh, thank you. We won't surrender without a fight. A murmur of consent ran through the crowd of guards. As I looked at them, I could see how fiercely determined they were. Okay, but Lieutenant still thinks I was going to hand him over, and I totally wasn't. I hate that. I was incredibly touched. But Miko, Eri, last time I checked, bitch, I was still the leader of the light guard. My decisions are final. The emotion almost choked me to death. I thought about hugging Miko. Ugh, don't touch her. But it was a solemn occasion. Lieutenant stepped towards Miko. With your permission, Miko, I may have an idea. We could pretend to agree to his offer and catch him off guard. He's not that much of an idiot. Play the same game as him to make it backfire. Eri, would you agree? I nodded, determined. So, there's no time to waste. We need a plan. I glanced at Lieutenant, who nodded his head. Oh, okay. We used a few hours. I don't know why I'm laughing. It's not funny. We used a few hours we had left to devise a plan of attack. The clock struck midnight. It was time to go confront Lance. Finally, go meet up with Lance. Oh, I would love to. The idea of meeting up with Lance is stressing me out. I hope he won't have caught on to our ploy. You haven't even seen him yet, but I can't help but wonder. Leifdan and I walk in silence. Amaya and Miko are accompanying us. Oh. I told you I gave my companion a special name. You can probably guess what it is by now. I knew it was going to confuse me at some stage. I don't know if they realize what's going on, but they understand that we're worried. Leifdan didn't say a word until we got to the Grand Gate. It occurs to me that this may be our last time together. Kiss, kiss, kiss. I mean, what? A few hours from now, we may both be dead. It's probably time we straighten things out between us. Oh yeah, I'm so ready. Leifdan, if we don't make it back from this confrontation, I want you to know that I don't hate you. I honestly think you can change and get back on a brighter path. Leifdan seemed caught off guard at first. Thanks, Eri. You're welcome. Was that it? We went out through the gates of HQ. Lance was there, alone, standing a few dozen yards away. Right on time. I didn't think you'd agree to surrender to save these pathetic creatures. He gazed at me, his face lit up. Oh, I see. It's to let the human go on living. You managed to convince her to come and witness your last breath. Isn't that touching? The tragic story of the demon and the human he loved. You know that she's not a human. Well, I guess she is. She is. She's part human, isn't she? So, tell me, Leifdan, are you going to let me kill you nice and fast? Or would you rather offer your heart's desire the pathetic spectacle of a losing battle? Lance, it's not too late to stop this madness. You are despicable, Lance. With those words, I lost it. So much for the plan. I'm going to kill him. We have a plan, and all of these options are going to ruin it. I don't want to pick any of them. Alright, I'm gonna go with this one. You are despicable. I'm not used to taking the opinion of humans into account, and if you get the... I'm so glad I picked that one! And if you get the urge to speak again without me asking you to, I'll punish you. I'd like to see that. Okay, I'd like to see that. Lance squinted in anger. He turned to face me, a blue flame appearing around his hand. What are you gonna do, huh? He's no longer paying attention to Leifdan. Right when Lance looked away, Leifdan transformed back into his demon form. In a flap of his huge wings shrouded in darkness, he rushed at the dragon, grabbing him by the throat. Lance roared with rage. Icy blue flames spewed from his throat as he tried to free himself from Leifdan's grip, but Leifdan held strong. A wave of black energy seemed to radiate from Leifdan to encircle Lance, who was apparently trying to transform into his dragon form in vain. His features became distorted, his limbs got longer, and then returned to their human form. Leifdan's look of concentration confirmed that he was performing an enchantment to keep him in human form, as agreed with Miko a little earlier. Pulling out my dagger, I jumped at the two opponents, hoping I could stop Lance. The dragon saw me coming, holding my weapon. He let out another roar and released a spew of flames in my direction. I dove and rolled in the grass to dodge the flames. Leifdan turned around facing me to make sure I wasn't hurt. Leifdan, you idiot. Lance seized his chance. In a final growl, he escaped Leifdan's grip. Leifdan! I threw him my dagger. He caught it in midair and lunged at Lance again. Lance had already begun his transformation. Leifdan only had time to slash his leg before he took flight. Leifdan, are you hurt? I'm fine, thanks. I managed to hurt him, thanks to you. He returned to his human form and handed me my dagger. He won't make it far. Let's catch him before he has time to treat his wounds. Running like the wind, we were soon within sight of the cliff. I was panting slightly, but Leifdan seemed to be in full possession of his faculties. full possession of his faculties. He motioned for me to slow down. Towering in front of us was Lance, who hadn't returned to his human form. Bluish flames licked the spot where Lieutenant had injured him, and the wound was closing up. Oh, damn. Lance stared at us coldly. Lit by the moon, his bluish-white scales glowed with a threatening shine. Do you have a plan? I thought we had a plan. What the hell? I was hoping to keep him from returning to his natural form. I'm no longer powerful enough to fight a dragon on my own, and you haven't mastered your powers yet. It's the last fucking episode. We better hurry up with that shit. No matter what happens, we mustn't let him take flight. Once in the sky, we won't be able to reach him. Lance let out a grumble, with flames coming out of his nostrils. Ah! Dragon! Sorry. That was super high. Stabbing me in the back. I admit you caught me off guard. The flames around his injury have gone out. His wound has healed. I didn't think you had the guts to risk so many innocent lives by trying an attack with so little chance of succeeding. Did you really think the situation could turn to your advantage? A weakened demon and a human with a knife to conquer a dragon. Lance burst into ominous, chilling laughter. So, enough laughing. Farewell. Bye. Lance let out a terrifying roar, and a column of flames raced suddenly towards us. Eri! Oh my god! Save me! A hand made of darkness materialized around me and shoved me aside. I rolled in the sand. Once I stood back up, the flames had disappeared. Lieutenant had transformed into a demon. His wings wrapped around his body like a barrier. He was huddled up inside a glass dome. The dragon's fire had vitrified the sand where it had hit. Little sparks were slowly dying out at the top of his wings. He saved me again. At what cost? Is he okay? Maybe you should go and see. Lieutenant's body suddenly collapsed in a thud. Lieutenant, what have you done? Wait, is he dead? What the fuck? Well, that settles the matter with the demon. Now it's your turn, human. Excuse you? I could barely understand what Lance was saying. Is he dead? Oh my god. Oh my god, it's like Snow White. I could barely... Not really, but... I could barely understand what Lance was saying. My sight was blurry, but I couldn't take my eyes off Lieutenant's body, spread out on display in his crystal showcase. My heart started throbbing, and I clenched my fists, feeling an unspeakable anger rising inside me, a rage that already felt almost familiar. Okay, look, he already died once. I don't want it to happen again. Just being honest. Re-energized, I turned to face Lance. What are you gonna do? You're mistaken, Lance. I'm not human. I thought he already knew this. Girl. A halo of glowing energy was forming around my clenched fists. Lance looked at me wide-eyed, his pupils shrinking. I am a demon too! Yes, I'm a fucking demon! Rings of dark smoke rose up around me. The same as the ones that had materialized when I had let my rage loose on the Krakens during the journey to the Jade Coast. Back then, I'd felt the power's mysterious dark strength, and it had frightened me. Is it time to call on it now? Yes! Yes! No, I don't want to risk falling into the darkness again. Yes, it's time to let my fury explode. Let's do this. Right when I decided to let my anger possess me, I felt an unprecedented power sweep over me. What now? The spirals of darkness surrounding me seemed thicker. I held my hands out in front of me and a wave of black energy lashed out at Lance, who stepped back in a hurry. The ice dragon raised a wall of flames between us. I felt as if I couldn't break through it. Without Lieutenant, I'm not powerful enough. Girl, you're powerful enough on your own. A flutter of wings next to me made me turn my head. Lieutenant was sitting up. He's alive! Lieutenant, how? How many fucking times do I have to say his name out loud? The energy you released. The demonic energy. I felt it calling me. You never cease to amaze me, Eri. Cross your fingers that you'll get other chances to be amazed. Lance let out a muffled roar. The turn of events was clearly not to his liking. Leaftan and I faced him. Are you ready? More than ever. The wall of flames that had protected Lance from my attack suddenly fizzled out. He was ready to fight back. Without giving the dragon time to take the initiative, we attacked him together. Oh, you fuckers. Why am I not surprised? The dark energy that we both had moved freely between us. As if we were one and the same demon. We were driven by the same anger, the same hatred of our enemy. We attacked at a frantic pace, avoiding Lance's counterattacks by darting out of their trajectory. The dragon had no choice but to constantly try to stay on the defensive. Lacking the time he needed to take flight, he gradually retreated towards the cliff. Fighting in such harmony was incredibly exhilarating. All fear had vanished, only the excitement of the battle remained. Performing an improvised choreography together, just doing a little dance, each of us was able to anticipate the other's moves, intentions, and needs. Despite the circumstances, I was gonna say, fighting or having sex. Something about the situation was very intimate. I felt deeply flustered. I almost feel like I'm being unfaithful to Nevra. That idea distracted me briefly. Harry, Leaftan slipped between Lance and me and put up the barrier of black energy in front of us. Lance's flames crashed into it, but the shock shook us both up. Lance grabbed the opportunity and immediately took flight. He flew in a circle in the night sky before heading back towards us, his jaws releasing an intense blue blaze. We have to take cover. Okay. Let's run. The gates of HQ are within sight. It was about time. I'm laughing because I think I know what's coming up. We managed to dodge Lance's jets of flames so far, but I'm running out of energy. The gate is just 100 yards away now. Open the gate! The guard, seeing the dragon chasing us, activated the device that would open HQ's heavy gates. Okay, stop. As soon as we make it through them, we'll be protected by Miko's shield. Just a few yards left. I was about to go through the gates when a terrible roar shook the sky. I turned around to see Lance rushing at me, his snout wide open. Harry, watch out! A spiral of darkness thrust me violently towards the gates. I went through the shield and ended up lying in the grass. Oh, it didn't even happen. Oh no. Lance turned to face Leaftan and spewed out a ball of fire. Leaftan didn't have enough time to get out of his way. Miko suddenly appeared beside me and jumped in front. This isn't funny. And jumped in front of Leaftan. The ball of fire struck my companion head on, throwing him. Oh fuck! No, it didn't work out the way I wanted it to. My companion is a girl, not a boy. It did not read how I wanted it to read. Leaftan leapt through the gates, which closed behind him. Lance turned back. He could no longer hurt us. Right by me. Oh my god, this is so sad. I called my companion Miko because I wanted this to happen. Right by me, Miko's smoking body lay jerking. Oh my god, this is so sad. I hate this. Miko stared at me hard, batting their eyelashes erratically. Their eyes seemed to want to tell me something. Tears rolled down my cheeks. I crawled over and snuggled up with my companion, stroking his head. My companion is a girl! They finally closed their eyes. Miko. I repeated their name, as if calling it could make it come back. Heavy sobs racked my body. I thought this was going to be satisfying to see Miko in that kind of situation, but Miko, my companion, this is not satisfying at all. This is fucking horrible. Their last act had been to save Leaftan's life. I sincerely hope this sacrifice would not be in vain. Lance, You fucking... Okay. Oh, moving on. Thank you. Lieutenant came running, distraught. He kneeled down in front of us. By the Oracle, Eri, I'm so sorry. I laid his hand on my shoulder. He laid his hand on my shoulder. He looked at me, sincerely sorry. He most likely wanted to give me a hug and comfort me, but he no longer could. Miko, my companion. Look, I need to have a look at my companion. No, she's still there. It's gonna be okay. He most likely wanted to give me a hug and comfort me, but he no longer could. Eri, I don't want to rush you, but time is of essence. You need to go report to Miko. I'll take care of Miko. Oh my god. I should be the one who... His eyes got teary. It's better this way, I promise. I stifled one last sob and got up. This is such a low blow, Bimo. Why? Why would you do this to a poor innocent companion named Miko? Farewell, Miko. Yep, that happened. That really happened. Nevra came running to me, looking panicked. Eri, are you okay? Yes, I'm fine. Barely hurt. Nevra looked me over from top to bottom and bottom to top, lingering on a few bruises that spotted my skin. When his gaze came to rest on the cut I had on my shoulder, I noticed the thirst for blood light up in his eyes. His jaw muscles tightened. Your blood deficiency hasn't gotten any better. Well, if he hasn't had any blood, then obviously not. No worries, it's under control. He ended up taking me in his arms. I was so afraid when I heard Lance's roar right in front of the gates. A tear ran down my cheek. It's not even funny. It's not even funny, it's just sad. I'm sorry. I quickly dried my tears. There's nothing you can do. I have to go see Miko now. The other Miko. The stupid Miko. I'll come with you. She asked to see all four of us, with Ez and Valkian. All three of them are waiting for us in the crystal room. I kissed Nevra one last time before smiling at him tenderly. He took hold of my hand. Let's go. I got to the crystal room, my heart pounding like crazy. Oh, there you are. Perfect. Eri, are you okay? Not hurt? You should have died instead. Instead of my companion. Just a few bruises. Israel and Valkian both looked at me, worried. I'm fine, really. Israel pulled a flask from his belt. Yes, alcohol. Here, it's a potion. Oops. Here, drink this. It'll help make the bruises go away. I drank the potion without making a fuss. Lieutenant's fine too, just so you know. None of them asked. Lance almost got him, but Miko intervened. Miko opened her eyes wide. Did they? Yes, they died. Lieutenant is taking care of their body. Tears of sorrow and rage welled up in Miko's eyes. It should have been you! I'm sincerely sorry, Eri. They didn't deserve that. No one deserves what's happening to us. Did you say that Miko intervened to save Lieutenant? Yes! That's what a Miko should do. Yes, is that normal behavior for a companion? Sacrificing themselves to save the life of a friend or of their master or mistress. I don't think I've ever heard of that kind of thing, but it must have happened before. Companions are very protective as a general rule. Besides, Lieutenant and you have a deeper, more complex bond than an ordinary friendship. You are of the same blood, and the ritual he used to save you from purgatory has bound your fates in... Yep. Don't forget that by saving Lieutenant, Miko saved your life too. This Miko would never. A weight suddenly crushed my chest. How could I have forgotten that? That explains their behavior. Her! It might be something else. He gave Miko a serious look. I turned to face her, waiting for her to explain. Companions have instinct. They feel and know certain things that are sometimes beyond our grasp. Maybe left hand has a more important role to play than we thought. Companions have instinct. They feel and know certain things that are sometimes beyond our grasp. Maybe left hand has a more important role to play than we thought. More important than you. Until we figure that out, start by telling me how your battle went. I told them everything. How Left Hand managed to wound Lance in front of the gates to HQ. How he had escaped and run off towards the beach. How Left Hand, when saving me, had gotten hit by a blast from Lance, and how that had awakened my powers. I told them how I had called on the black energy again, and focused my fury on attacking Lance, and how the wave of power had brought Left Hand back to life. What? What do you mean, brought him back to life? They listened carefully, lending me a sympathetic ear. Even though, in their eyes, I could see the fear that having another demon inside... Yes. That having another demon inside HQ inspired in them. I am demon. Then I told them about the battle, about how Left Hand and I had been driven by one and the same energy. How we had managed to play in the same league as Lance for several minutes. I was reluctant to tell them about the deep feeling of intimacy, because why would you? I had sensed at the time. Maybe I don't need to dwell on those feelings, I'd rather be honest with them. I'm so telling them. I end up Sorry, Nevra. I end up confiding in them about how close I felt to Left Hand, as if we were totally connected, as if we were one and the same person, a whole. I honestly hoped they would forgive Left Hand for his past actions, the way I had already forgiven him. When fighting alongside him, I felt like he had gotten back on the path of light. Why do I always do this? Nevra's face stiffened slightly. Nevra, No harm done. It's good you told us the truth. It might be important. The two of us can talk about it later if you want to. Ooh. I ended my account with Lance flying off. I escaped to the gates, and Miko sacrificed. They remained silent momentarily. Then Miko took the floor. Oh, God. This Miko. Do you think that even the two of you won't be able to handle Lance? Left Hand sacrificed half of his powers to bring me back from purgatory, and I haven't mastered mine yet. Miko gave Valkion a meaningful look. I'm sorry to ask you that, Valkion. Believe me, I know you'd rather not have to confront your own brother, not any more than I want to, but you are the only one up to defeating Lance. Valkion nodded, looking determined. Best friend, you can do it. You can do it. Thank you, Miko. But if I can stop him, I have to. Valkion furrowed his brow, looking reluctant. But I just got reconnected with that part of myself. I'm afraid of not being powerful enough, even in my natural form. You need to enlist Fafnir's help. He doesn't want to help anyone. We don't have time to make the journey all the way to Memoria. There's a ritual that allows dragons to communicate in case of emergency. How do you know? Huang Hua told me about it. She said she'd help us. How convenient. In your opinion, what are the chances of such an undertaking being successful? Miko sighed. Slim, but we have to try. Right away, I volunteered to go get Huang Hua. I need to get some fresh air. Hurry. No sooner had Huang Hua seen me than she threw herself in my arms. Bitch, please. Eri, I was so worried. I heard about Miko. I'm really sorry. Thanks, Huang Hua. I hope you won't have to go through any more hardships. Unfortunately, I could tell by the look in her eyes that she had serious doubts. I restrained my urge to hold her tight and cry on her shoulder. I don't have that urge. Now is not the time to lose it. We'll have plenty of time to cry once we've won this war. Thanks, Huang Hua. You already said that. She took a minute studying me. Seeing my determination, and most likely realizing it was a front, she gave me an affectionate smile and stroked my cheek. Do not touch me. I guess you've come to get me because Valkion has decided to confront his brother. I nodded. Yes, because he's better than all of you combined. What do you think about that? It isn't up to me to think. We've run out of options. I hope Valkion isn't going to cave in when the time comes to kill his brother. It must be awful for Valkion to have to confront his brother, and for Miko to have to ask him to do it. Oh, God. I want to pick that last one, but I don't care about Miko. I mean, I don't care about that Miko. I care about my companion Miko. Yeah. Oh, fuck it. I'm just going to go with this one. For sure. But I'm afraid we no longer have a choice. I know. There's no way to negotiate with Lance. Let's get going fast then. Huang Hua, thanks for coming. Huang Hua answered him with a smile. Him? There's a problem. I scanned the room. Where's Valkian? He's having a hard time getting used to the idea of having to kill his brother. Who knows why? I really hope you're being sarcastic. He'd rather be left alone to think. Put yourself in his shoes. It's an awful position to be in. I have no trouble putting myself in his shoes, Huang Hua. Do you know how long it took me to mourn Lance when I thought he was dead? Shut up, we don't want to hear about that. Forgive me, I didn't mean to. I know. Eri, go talk to Valkian. He'll listen to you. Because I'm his best friend. I swallowed hard. All I have left to do is convince Valkian to confront his brother. I opened the door without bothering to knock. We're besties, just walk right on in. Valkian? He was sitting on the bed. When he turned around, just from the way he was holding himself, I could tell right away how tormented he was. He made the effort to smile at me. Eri, it's you. I'm sorry. Really sorry. I can't get used to the idea. I sat down next to him on the bed. Valkian, I can't imagine how hard it must be for you. I'm sincerely sorry, but I'm afraid we no longer have any other choice. I did everything I could to keep you from having to make this choice, but we are helpless. There's no way to reason with him. He tried to kill me. He's going to put an end to all life in this world. I beg of you, help us. Valkian took me in his arms. I hugged him tight. You are not from this world, yet you want to save it at all costs. Debatable. I'll do what has to be done. Valkian and I pulled apart. Now his posture conveyed nothing but steadfast determination. Let's go join the others. I'm right behind you. Valkian, you're back. Blessed be the Oracle. Thanks for coming. Don't mention it. I'm sorry I left. I have to do it. Thanks, Valkian. I'm going to ask the rest of you to leave. We're going to need to concentrate. Sure. Nevra laid a comforting hand on Valkian's shoulder. Valkian nodded his head in thanks, laying his hand on the vampires. Nevra left the crystal room, wrapping himself up in his scarf. Can I be of any help? None. Jesus. Fine, in that case. Israel gave Valkian an apologetic look. Good luck, Valk. He gave Valkian a friendly pat on the shoulder and followed Nevra out. Eri, do I have to leave too? Miko gave me a persuasive look. I looked around for Huang Hua's support, but she frowned. Fine, I'll freaking leave then. Fine, if you need me, I'll be in my room. As soon as I got to my room, I collapsed on my bed. The day's events were reeling through my head. The battle, the face-off with Lance, the feeling of closeness with Liftan. And the ritual. I wholeheartedly hoped it would go according to plan. After a few minutes, my tumultuous thoughts led me to sleep. Meanwhile, in the crystal room. Is everything going smoothly? Looks that way. The ritual seems to have worked. Nothing looks different. Yet I smell a weird smell. A salty smell. Miko? Miko, can you hear me? It seems to have worked. All I have to do now is find Fafnir. Everything here looks like it does in Memoria. The wind in the trees, my footprints in the sand. Still, I know that everything here is just an illusion, except for the memories. And the spirits. The doors of the dragons seem so real. I know that I'm not here physically, and yet I could swear I'm really in Memoria, in the realm of my ancestors. Miko, Huang Hua, can you hear me? No answer. Fafnir, I need your help. Where are you? I need your help. The only answer I get is the echo of my own voice. Grandfather, I need you. I beg of you. Child, there is a prophet. For fuck's sake. What? You just come out of nowhere. There is a prophecy. There's always a prophecy. Be more original, B-move. What's happening? Don't be afraid, Miko. That's normal. Valkyrian, come back. There you are. The look I saw on Miko's face was troubled, but Huang Hua's was reassuring. My eyes closed. I know what I have to do. I'd been going around in circles for 4 days at HQ. From Fountain Park to the Alley of Arches. From the Alley of Arches to the 100-year cherry tree. Valkyrian had come out of his trance a few hours after the ritual began and had passed out immediately. He had been taken to the infirmary, and since then, no news, and no one was allowed to enter. Lance hadn't been seen since our confrontation. The spies had reported that he had taken off, only the Oracle knew where. I was going crazy, being inactive, and worried was such a burden on me. Being inactive and worried was such a burden on me that I'd beaten my pillow to a pulp. I was about to punch in the side of my wooden dresser, vaguely hoping to make a big hole in it, jeez, when there was a knock on my door. Knock, knock, knock. Come in. Oh, I'm so disappointed. Ellie here walked into my room, all wound up. Ellie, what good timing. I think I have bats in the belfry. I don't know what that means. I'm going insane. Oh, why? Because nothing's happening. Valkyrian is sleeping. Lance is nowhere to be found. The others are all busy, doing who knows what, and I'm useless. Ellie moved closer to comfort me. Don't get any closer. Oh no, come on, you aren't useless. You fought Lance a few days ago, and you almost got killed. It's normal for you to rest. I showed Ellie the condition my pillow was in. I'm not resting. I'm chomping at the bit. I'll ask the laundry service if they have any extra ones. Anyway, I came to tell you something. I locked my eyes on hers. What? I bet I won't care. Okay, I do care. Oh wait, Valkyrian is awake. He wants to talk to you. I looked at her, pop-eyed. And now you're telling me. You let me go on complaining for 2 hours before telling me that Valkyrian is awake. I don't think it was 2 hours, but okay. Eldarya frowned. It seemed like you had a lot on your mind. I'm leaving right this minute. Thanks, Ellie. Sorry. Ew, I smacked a kiss on her cheek and stormed out of the room. I don't like her. I don't want to do that. I walked into the infirmary without knocking. You have a habit of doing that. And almost crashed into Evelyn. Hey, whoa, this is an infirmary, a restful place. You can't just waltz in here. Evelyn, did Valkyrian ask to see me? Sure, right, I know you're blah bitty blah. I'm here to see Valkyrian. Forgive me, Evelyn. Eldarya told me about Valkyrian. I couldn't wait. This one. I know perfectly well that you're here to see Valkyrian, but that doesn't entitle you to run in the infirmary. Alright, I get it. Where is he? Evelyn frowned. This way. Evelyn led me to Valkyrian. Nevra, Ezreal, oh, no! Everell. Wait, Everell? Who's Everell? Nevra, Ezreal, and Miko were already at his bedside. Valkyrian, how do you feel? I laid my hand on his shoulder. His breathing was steady. He seemed to be regaining his strength. Valkyrian gave me a tired smile. I'm feeling much better already, but I didn't ask you here to talk about my health. I have good news. Did you see Fafnir? Yes, the ritual worked. I reached his spirit successfully. Did he manage to give you anything? Information? A strategy? A weapon? An alchemical formula? I couldn't keep from smiling. They aren't leaders of their respective guards for nothing. He shared a prophecy with me. A prophecy? That's so lame. Now I know that I can defeat Lance. I don't know if I want that to happen. Is that all? He just said, go for it, big boy, you can get him. Yes, that's exactly what Fafnir would say. Never. Dragon prophecies are a little more than cheering someone on. They are genuine visions of the future. No prophecy proclaimed by a dragon has ever turned out to be wrong. Ezreal let out a big sigh. So I guess he's going to share the same prophecy with your brother, since he doesn't want to play favourites. Valkyrian grinned slightly. Probably. Lance has most likely already heard the prophecy, but knowing him the way I do, I doubt he understands it. You try to say he's an idiot. Meanwhile, on Memoria Island. Here I am again on this damn island, for the last time, I hope. In any case, I have no choice. I have a score to settle. I get the feeling, I'm sure Fafnir helped my brother one way or another. And the two demons almost got me. It was a close call. If Fafnir gave Valkion an extra weapon, I won't be able to stand up to them. Since he made the decision not to take sides, he'll have to help me too. When I reached the Memoria ruins, a swarm of Dreyflaels had taken over the premises. They were flying every which way, apparently randomly. Oh, stop! I felt my fist burning with a familiar warmth. I should kill all of the nasty pests. But given that shedding blood on the island is forbidden by Fafnir, if I want him to listen to me, I'd better hold back. Good. I watched the Dreyflaels briefly with contempt. If we weren't in Memoria. Suddenly, oh god, the things stopped their little game, as if they had seen or heard something, and they all flew off towards the cliff. I should follow them. Really? I thought we were here to see Fafnir. Or maybe he's on the cliff. That would be very convenient. The Dreyflaels stopped at the edge of the cliff and resumed their strange circular dance. If they led me here for nothing... My hand let go of a blue glow as I felt my anger rising. Let off a blue glow. The wind picked up all of a sudden and blew out the flame that had just begun in the palm of my hand. Fafnir appeared in front of me. Oh, good. What brings you here, child? I couldn't keep from snickering. As if you didn't know. Are you going to try to make me believe that Valkion hasn't already turned to you for help? No, I'm not. He came. And did you help him? I'm choking with rage. How could I refuse to help my descendants when they ask me to? I fume. Yeah, we get it. You're angry. We get it! Don't mock me. Can't you see what I'm trying to do? Don't you understand the scope of my project? Or do you just refuse to admit that you made a mistake? And do you refuse to let someone fix it? Blood can't be bought with blood, Lance. Can't you try to understand that? Eldarians live their insignificant lives without ever being preoccupied with the legendary blood they have on their hands. They killed our entire race, our entire family, yet we've heard this spill before. Do you think your anger can bring them back to us? I can no longer think straight. Seas of rage are seething inside me. Both of my hands burst into flames. I strongly advise you against trying to use violence here, Lance. There's absolutely nothing you can do against me, and all the other creatures living on this land are under my protection. You know the rules. The rules. It's a good thing you mentioned them. I think one of your rules also says that you can't refuse to help me. You haven't asked me for help. You've just been ranting and threatening me. Tell him. I took a deep breath to calm myself down. My flames went out. Fine, so I'm asking for your help. What did you give my brother? A prophecy. I didn't give him anything. I just told him the prophecy that concerns both of you. Tell it to me. Lance, just fucking stop. just take a breath. If you want me to. But I'm not sure you are capable of understanding it. Burn. Let me be the judge of that. As you like. The prophecy says... 2 warring brothers, one from the cold, the other from the flames. So original. Will face off one day in the sky. One must defeat the other to find peace. One must defeat the other and lose his soul. Is that all? That's all. So what does it mean? It's pretty obvious. I know no more than the 2 of you do. 2 warring brothers. One from the cold, the other from fire. Valkion and me. We'll face off in the sky. We're going to fight each other in our dragon forms. So far, that's crystal clear. One must defeat the other to find peace. One must defeat the other and lose his soul. But who is one and who is the other? It's up to you to decide. One must defeat the other to find peace. Valkion would never find peace in murder, even less so in fratricide. So I must be the one and he the other. One must defeat the other and lose his soul. If that means dying for my cause, that doesn't scare me. I've risked my life time and time again. And if it means losing my soul in a more metaphorical sense, I've already done more than enough for there to be nothing left of my soul. Thank you, Fafnir. I'm not totally sure about what the last 2 verses might imply. I guess they're open to interpretation. But one thing is crystal clear. We're going to fight each other. And I'll win this battle. Alright. Fafnir said nothing in return. He just vanished with a sigh. He just peaced out. Oh god, Lance, you just need to stop. If he thought the prospect of confronting death would frighten me, he obviously doesn't know me very well. Valkion had told us about his meeting with Fafnir, as well as what the prophecy said. It didn't seem the least bit clear to me, and the others seemed to agree with me, but Valkion had a big smile on his face. He had a plan. I'm sure my brother didn't understand the prophecy. Probably only the first part seems clear to him. As soon as he heard it, he must have rushed to his ship to come and confront us. But what do you plan on doing? A mischievous grin stretched across Valkion's face. Defeat him. Wait, hold on. The prophecy says one must defeat the other to find peace. So far, so good. One must defeat the other and lose his soul. Doesn't that frighten you? The trick is to know who is one and who is the other. Precisely, and I don't. The infirmary door swings open. Crone bursts in, his hair a mess. Hey, whoa, this is an infirmary! You can't just come waltzing in. Lance is on the beach. Hell yeah, let's go do this. Oh. Always right where we expect him. It's time. Chrome's eyes shone with a murderous glow. For the first time since I've known him, I felt all the bloodthirsty werewolf power lying dormant inside him. The final battle. Come on, quick, to the gates. We had barely gone past the market square when we heard a sound like a clap of thunder. Kero ran towards us, pop-eyed. Sounds so weird. What's going on? The earth shook as the noise rang out again. Has Lance come back? What do you think? Obviously. It's a war, Kero, wake up. Yeah, I already know I'm picking that one. Sorry, I'm... Kero, run for cover in the library, right now. But Scoot, damn it! Kero dashed off without further ado. When we got to the central pavilion, we felt another quake. A frightened scream suddenly rang out, and Milo, get out of here! And Milo came out of the pavilion. He ran towards me. Eri, what are those noises? Jeez, what are you doing here? Run and hide, fast. There's going to be a fight, huh? I kneeled down to his level. Poor thing. How could he possibly understand what's going on? There may well be, Milo. It'd be better if you went and hid. Join Kero in the library. Or hide in the prison. Alright, but will you come and get me afterwards? No. Have no fear. We'll come get you once it's all over. I called out to a member of the guard passing by, headed towards the gates. What's going on? Take the little guy to safety. Kero is holed up in the library. He'll be just fine there. But the battle's about to begin. Do what I said. Do as she says. He hesitated briefly, then leaned down to Milo. What's your name, little guy? You don't have time for that. Just take him. My name's Milo. I'm not all that little. Come with me, Milo. He took the little Myconide by the hand, and they headed off to HQ. Karen and Eldarya sprung out in front of us. Oh, go away. Finally, a little action. Karen's smile reveals 2 sharp fangs. I've never thought of her as a warrior until now. And yet, she's definitely Nevra's sister, and hence, a vampire. We're going to get to give them a taste of their own medicine. Girls, I'm not sure that... Girls, we aren't kids, Miko. Karen, listen to your guard leader. Go and hide. Listen to my brother? I don't think that'll be happening anytime soon. If Chrome is going to fight, I'll be by his side on the battlefield. Chrome gave Karen a thumbs up and a wink. Nevra let out an incredibly deep sigh. Ezreal, you aren't my brother, but in circumstances like these, I want you to know that I won't listen to you either if you ask me to go and hide. Ezreal shrugged his shoulders. He doesn't give a shit. I didn't ask you anything of the sort. Eldarya's face lit up with a big smile. So that's settled then. To war. We arrived at the gates and realised that the shield had been put to a severe test by Lance's blast. Blue flames were lashing out and smashing into it, and each attack echoed throughout HQ. As he attacked the magical barrier relentlessly, outside we could see the cloud of dust being raised by his approaching army. On our side, a number of Eldarians were gathering. I had come across many of the faces during my strolls, without paying enough attention to them. Valkian, Leafhand, Nevra, Israel, Eveline, and Miko were there, as well as Chrome, Karen, Alahir, Kalaya, and Jamon. I had never seen any of them so determined. They were willing to give their life to protect this world and its inhabitants. I could see it in their faces and their stance. I saw Karudo, hooves firmly grounded, wielding what I assumed was a kitchen utensil. A ladle. I made eye contact with Fang Hua. She gave me a smile, meant to look confident. She too was ready. Just a step behind her stood Fang Sifu's silhouette, stiff and undaunted. I was overcome with emotion. All these people ready to give everything, to sacrifice everything, so the world in which they had placed so much hope could survive. I thought of Kero, Milo, and Twilda, who must be scared to death in their makeshift hiding place. Another attack by Lance shook the shield, which began to crack. The shield's going to collapse. Go to the crystal room. Use the energy that's left to hold it up. I don't want to abandon you all. It's our only chance. You are our only chance. Whatever. Miko ran off to the crystal room without looking back. A few seconds later, the shield collapsed. In unison, like a single man, we rushed out. The greatest battle in the history of Eldarya was going to come to an end. Alright, let's do this. Let's do this thing. As we came through the gates, Lance flew swiftly towards HQ to get inside. Our archers fired shots at him, but not a single arrow could penetrate his thick, scaly skin. No sooner had we all gotten out than the shield reformed behind us. Miko had reached the crystal. The dragon, hurtling forward, was unable to stop in time and slammed into the shield head-on. He took off again towards the forest, flying awkwardly, and vanished behind the foliage. Suddenly, Miko's voice rose, echoing across the plains, urging us to stand our ground. Countless battle cries sounded out among us. And the battle got underway. Our soldiers spread out quickly, driving our enemies as far away as possible from the gates, harassing their flanks. The battlefield widened quickly from the beach to the edge of the forest. Israel, still suffering from his injury, stayed in front of the gates to organize treatment for the wounded. I was about to offer my help when a group of fairies swooped down on him, weapons drawn. Israel! My buddy! Israel turned around, drawing his foil. The others were already on him. He fought with the energy of desperation. His weapon moved through the air with a swish, its tip striking at his opponent's weak spots like lightning, fatally wounding them with each blow. I should help him. I stretched the cord of my bow. I was going to have to be clever. Forgetting to rely on the element of surprise, I let out a scream of rage that had the merit of distracting some of the attackers. Abandoning Israel momentarily, they shifted their attention to me. Oh my god. If you want to save this world, you'll have to start by getting rid of these opponents. To find out if your combat training has paid off, you'll have to perform this QTE successfully. Good word. No problem. Attack. Success! I had no trouble getting rid of my opponents, dodging and blocking their attacks skillfully. I knocked them to the ground in record time. Personally, I was impressed by my skills as a warrior, if I do say so myself. Raising my head to look around, I noticed that not everyone was in such good shape. Struggling with a Valkyrie, Israel seemed to be having trouble blocking his attacks. I rushed to his rescue, and making the most of the element of surprise, easily managed to put the Valkyrie where he could do no harm. Thanks, Eri. It was a close call this time. Maybe you should head back. Don't worry about me. I'm fine. Thanks to you. He smiled at me warmly. You should go see if the others are managing. Things are calming down over here. I'm going to try to take care of the wounded. Ella here, come help me. The young mermaid rushed over to us. We need to take care of the wounded. Okay, I gave Israel a hug. Be careful. Accompanied by Ellie, he left to care for the HQ inhabitants that could still be cared for. As for me, I had to go see if my friends needed help. Chaos prevailed at the crossroads. I cut through the crowd without too much trouble. No one was interested in me amid all the confusion. Huanghua was fighting Lance's hordes, wielding the sword with skill I didn't know she had. Feng Zifu, always just as loyal, kept fending off those who approached her from behind with a kiang. Yes, totally how you say it. I spotted Eveline in the middle of the skirmish. She was struggling ferociously, letting out screams of rage when she took out an enemy soldier. Oh, you go, girl. As I tried to get closer to her, a satyr suddenly appeared in front of me. He had just killed a guard member who was lying at his feet. Before I had time to think, he pounced on me. Oh, are you serious? Okay. The satyr pounces on me. I step aside and grab his arm. A second later, he was on the ground. My training had apparently paid off. I finished him off with a stab. He doesn't deserve any better. Go away. Go very far away and never come back. As if. I don't feel the least bit remorseful. I have no time for that. I ran to Eveline's side as fast as I could. Somehow, she was managing to defend herself against her opponents. Hang in there, Eveline. I'm here. She glanced over at me hopelessly. You shouldn't have come. What are you... She got interrupted by a attacking her. His Valkyrie arrived shortly afterwards. Other members of Lance's army joined them in no time. I managed to fend off a few assailants, and Eveline did the same, but we were going to be overwhelmed soon. Huanghua was suddenly in front of Eveline, and in front of me, arms outstretched in a final barrier to protect us from the sharp-edged metal crashing down on us. We were suddenly surrounded by a wave of light that our enemies seemed unable to get through. From the look Huanghua gave us, I could tell she hadn't intended to put up the magical barrier between us and our enemies. She had reacted instinctively and had gotten between us and the soldiers' weapons to use her body as a barrier. Given the way she was staring at Eveline, I easily guessed what had awakened that instinct. Oh? Oh, really? I turned to face Feng Zifu. The Phoenix. It's one of the 7 tests. What? She's no longer afraid of dying. She willingly gave her life for a noble cause. Love? Feng Zifu's cheeks blushed slightly. Oh. Huanghua was still looking at Eveline. She smiled at her. The barrier of light spread, chasing Lance's renegades even further away. They should no longer have any problems. It'd be better for me to go and see if the others are faring just as well. On the beach, Left Hand was waging a ruthless battle against the invaders. He had taken on his demon appearance again, and was using his dark powers to put our enemies out of action. His big black wings flapped behind him, shoving away the fairies who tried to attack him from behind. At times, he used them as a shield to protect his allies, when a bolt of magical energy or an arrow threatened them. Karudo was on the beach too, holding his cleaver. Not his ladle? He was fighting with the hostility that all of the HQ members knew he had in him. This time, that hostility was directed against Lance's soldiers, and they could realize the full extent of it. He was clearly frightening. Suddenly, I realized that Karudo, all the while fighting, was gradually getting closer to Leafdan. He looked extremely determined. I was gripped by an awful sense of doubt. Could Karudo possibly be trying to take advantage of the battle's chaos to avenge himself on the angel? You better not. Dodging the attacks and protecting myself as best I could, I tried to get closer to Leafdan to warn him. A javelin thrown by another satyr shot towards Kurudo. In a flap of his wings, Leaf Hand was on him and deflected the javelin thanks to his demon power. Kurudo stared straight at Leaf Hand. The satyr held his cleaver firmly. I saw him tighten his grip on the handle. Leaf Hand! Kurudo forced Leaf Hand to stoop down. His arm rose. Kurudo? Oh, I was going to say, what the fuck are you doing? And violently struck a half-ogre who was approaching from behind the angel. Oh, he's an angel now, is he? I was petrified. Kurudo had saved him. As Leaf Hand stood back up, he said something to Kurudo. I was too far away to hear what. The cook shook Leaf Hand's hand and nodded. He seemed to have forgiven Leaf Hand. At least he had given up on the idea of taking revenge. They both went back to battle, watching each other's backs, and joined the other HQ members. Soon, they had eliminated most of Lance's men who had set foot on the beach. I hope the others are faring just as well. Lots of fairies from Lance's army were heading towards the burrow. Frightened by what I might find there, I followed them at a distance, trying to go unnoticed. Suddenly, a Valkyrie did an about face. In front of me, immediately followed by his "nah," I swallowed hard. Come on, I've confronted ones like them before. Don't let your fear show, Eerie. I don't want to do another Q2E, please. I was on my guard, ready for combat. All of a sudden, a yelp rang out behind them, the kind of yelp that might come from a cub. It was immediately followed by screams of fear and pain, and the recognizable clatter of crumpled metal. The Valkyrie and the immediately lost interest in me, and ran towards the source of the commotion. I raced behind them. They weren't going to get away so easily. Behind the mound of the burrow, there was a spectacle nothing could have prepared me for. A wolf cub was trying to bite, claw, and charge Lance's army. No, little baby cub, what are you doing out here? By the oracle, whose companion is it? It's too young to fight. It's mine. It's mine, your companion. As for Karen, she was leaping every which, I will never forget Miko, my other companion, but this is mine. As for Karen, she was leaping every which way, from any enemy to another, striking with her rapier and biting any throats within reach. Oh, is it Karen's? Oh, it is. Damn, I can't have it. Way to go, sweetie. Who would have thought a wolf cub would be so impressive? All of a sudden, I got it. The companion I had taken for a wolf cub is in fact Chrome and his werewolf. What? No way. It's not a werewolf. What is that? I wanted it to be my companion. Oops. That's great. Torn between wanting to laugh nervously or screaming at him to go hide, I watched him deploy a treasure trove of ferocity to fend off our enemies. Despite his adorable appearance, Chrome is a formidable opponent. He tosses enemies up in the air as if they were nothing but dolls. His sharp jaws snap and his claws rip through the air. As that blood-curdling yelp continues to ring out, I'm both impressed and bewildered. The Valkyrie and the that had spotted me were soon on him. They barely had time to raise their weapons before being swept away by Chrome. I'll need to remember to never make fun of his wolf form. I'm so making fun of his wolf form. He and Karen don't seem to be having any trouble. I can't be of any use to them. It'd be better for me to go see if the others are faring just as well. Making my way across the battlefield, I reached the edge of the forest. There, Nevra was fighting, assisted by several men and women from the Shadow Guard. Right away, I realized he wasn't in his normal state. His eye was bulging, his fangs sticking out of his mouth. He was bloodthirsty and starting to lose his self-control. Flitting from one enemy to another, he was delivering raging blows. At times, he seemed about to bite, but the ensuing attack kept him from doing so. From his behavior, I could see the primal pleasure he felt at making blood flow, and how excited the smell of blood made him. Slaughtering the last of his opponents within his reach, he looked up and laid eyes on one of his own men. His dagger twirled in his hand. He ran his tongue over his lips. His eyes sparkled with a morbid glow. I rushed towards him as he moved in on the soldier, determined. Nevra, stop, you're crazy. He stopped himself, shaking slightly, seeming to have a hard time snapping out of it. I stepped in between Nevra and the soldier. The latter took the opportunity to scurry off to HQ. I held my hand out to him. Come here. He followed me like a robot, and I pulled him behind a tree. He leaned against the trunk, breathing noisily. Your blood deficiency is going haywire. It's too dangerous. You have to drink some of mine. I'm not sure I can hold back. You've done it before. I know you can do it. I trust you, Nevra. I laid my hands on his chest in an attempt to calm him down. Nevra's expression relaxed a little. He gripped my wrist as if to push me away, most likely fearing he'd lose his self-control. At the sight of his long fangs, I couldn't keep from shivering. I trust him, but if his instinct takes the upper hand again... No, I can't afford to be afraid. I have to be strong for both of us. I'll save him. It's going to be okay, Nevra. Don't be afraid. I kissed him, and he kissed me back passionately. I felt how anxious he was, not wanting to make him wait any longer. I pulled my lips away from his and uncovered my neck. The sensation of his fangs breaking into my flesh was hardly painful, and soon became even pleasant. I sensed his craving, and despite myself, I started feeling it too. Duh! Now was undoubtedly not the time for me to give into that sort of craving. When I felt my fingertips going numb, I gently stepped away from Nevra. He didn't fight back. When he looked up, running his tongue over his lips, his expression had recovered all of its humaneness. He looked me straight in the eye. Oh, so cute. He looked me straight in the eye. His face radiated gratitude beyond measure. And all of a sudden, he hugged me tight, really tight against his chest, trembling with emotion. Thanks, Eri. Don't mention it. Nevra turned back towards the plains. Miko's voice continued ringing out to give her army courage. Looks like things are calming down here. How are the others doing? They've all made it through, I think. So much the better. He looked up and I instinctively did the same. Because things are going to get tougher. Lance is attacking HQ. Lance, in his dragon form, is flying towards the Grand Gate. We have to do something. Lance spewed powerful flames against the shield that seemed on the verge of breaking. Miko's voice rang out across the plains again. I can't hold up much longer. He has to be stopped at all costs. I ran to the Grand Gate as the others gathered there too. Lance moved away fast, preparing another attack. Everyone was watching, helpless. I suddenly noticed Valkion and joined him. Given his expression, I had no trouble realizing what he was about to do. Are you sure of yourself? Surer than ever. He has to be stopped. I'm the only one who can do it. Then I'm coming with you. Eri, I can help you. Alright, then let's hurry then. Within seconds, Valkion had taken on his dragon form. Ooh boy. I'm speechless. He is magnificent. Lance turned around, charging at the shield again. I glanced over at Nevra. He was running towards us. I don't have time to say goodbye. What? At this point, we are the only ones who can act. In a single leap, I climbed up on Valkion's back and hung onto one of his spinal nodes. Yes! Spinal node. His powerful wings flapped in the air and he took flight. Girl, you're riding the wrong dragon. The earth grew farther away fast, and within just seconds, I could see the wide open plains of El and the forest stretching all the way to the horizon. Valkion wasn't interested in the scenery. He was aiming straight for Lance. I had to locate the weak spot in the ice dragon's armor, if only I could reach it. Valkion ran into Lance just before he reached his shield. He held on to him, limiting his movements. I suddenly found Lance's weak spot, if I could manage to stand up on Valkion's back. Hang in there, Valkion. I'm almost there. Lance let out an awful roar. Blue flames shot out of his snout and nostrils, burning Valkion's wing, who got out of the way quick. My hand missed his spinal node when I tried to hang on to it. Oh no. I fell. Always falling. The sky twirled around me. Land was coming closer. Valkion was flapping his wings furiously to extinguish the flames and hadn't seen me. This was the end. No, it's not. No, it's not. Okay, yeah. We're gonna be saved by Lieutenant. It's fine. I was about to close my eyes when the dark demon energy suddenly surrounded me. Okay, or you're gonna save yourself, that's even better. Leave town? Given the unprecedented feeling of tension in my back, I realized Leafton had nothing to do with it. Huge black wings, like his, had just come out behind me and were breaking my fall. Yes! I reached the ground a few seconds later, exhausted but alive, and fell to my knees, shrouded in my wings. Calling on that power had required much more energy than I would have imagined. Still, I managed to look up at the sky to follow the progress of the fight between the dragons. Oh, alright. Seeing those two titans facing off in the sky was an incredible spectacle. I'm both terrified and in awe. The two brothers could have been invaluable members of the Guard if the circumstances had been different. If they hadn't been ashamed of being what they are. If they hadn't been so afraid of what the Eldarians thought of them. If Lance hadn't harboured such a grudge, and if he had been around to guide his brother, the Guard of El could have brought justice throughout Eldarya. What a waste, what a shame to see them pitted against each other. Lance and Valkian were circling each other, spitting fire. Valkian was trying to keep Lance away from the shield by attacking him non-stop. Suddenly, Lance charged at Valkian with a terrifying scream. Valkian charged at him in turn, but the Ice Dragon had much more experience in his dragon body than Valkian did. He dodged him easily, and ploughed into the shield that he knocked down in a final spew of flames, before heading straight to the crystal room. Valkian rushed after him with the energy of desperation. Spewing flames, he managed to catch up with him and tear one of his wings. Lance turned around to retaliate, but lost control of his flight and began to fall. He only had time to grab onto Valkian and drag him down with him as he fell. Oh no. With blood-curdling screams, the two titans fell through the roof of the crystal room. Then there was silence. The terror suddenly gave me renewed energy to get up, without really understanding how. The wings on my back were flapping again. Leaf-Tan joined me in no time, and we took off for the crystal room as fast as we could. The crystal room is in ruins. Mika was on the floor, and so were both the dragons. Leaf-Tan flew to Mika's side and grabbed her wrist to take her pulse. Oh, god damn it. She's alive. Blessed be the Oracle. Don't say that. Valkian is shaking. His body is racked with spasms and seems to be getting smaller. Within seconds, he has returned to his human form. He found the strength to get up. Valkian, are you hurt? I think I'm okay. I was about to walk towards him, but he motioned for me to stand back. Eri, no. Something's not... Lance let out a terrifying growl. Valkian took a step back. Pouncing like a snake, the ice dragon dug his claws into his brother's chest. How dare you? Valkian didn't actually look surprised. His face twisted in pain. Furrowing his brow, he gave me one last unfathomable look. His dragon wings suddenly spread out behind him in a final desperate move. When Lance removed his claws from Valkian's chest, he collapsed to the ground, almost noiselessly, his wings like a shroud. Oh my god. His blood flowing on the floor left no room for doubt. He wouldn't come back. Valkian! What have you done to my BFF? My scream of pain echoed through the devastated crystal room. No other place on Eldarya or on Earth could have reflected so accurately what I felt right then. Tears welled up in my eyes. Lance starts regaining his human form as I see the features of that hated face take shape. I can feel the rage rise inside me. Dark tentacles. I'm hilarious. Dark tentacles sprang from me and struck him head on before he had even gotten his human appearance back completely. The brutality of the impact knocked him to the ground, unconscious. Falling to my knees, I held Valkian's body against mine, sobbing. My friend! My friend! Oh my god. Eri, the crystal. It was only then that I noticed the crystal had been totally destroyed by the fall of the two dragons. There's only a small piece left, faintly glowing, as if on the verge of going out. Leaftan rushed to me, and to what was left of the crystal, suddenly something dawned on me. Leaftan beside the crystal, Valkyrian's wings stained with his blood. Everything matches up with my vision. And all of a sudden, the oracle was there. Translucent, ethereal. I only made eye contact briefly, but I would have sworn she was encouraging me. Or begging me. Miko moaned. She's trying to get up. Beyond the walls, I can hear the HQ inhabitants screaming with terror. The ground is shaking more and more. I know what I have to do to save this world now. The blue sacrifice of the dragons brought the crystal and Eldarya into being. At the last minute, the angels refused to take part in it. In order for the crystal to survive the last dragon's attack, it is time for the last angels to make amends for that error. In a flap of my wings, I was facing Leaftan. I reached out to the crystal. Oh my god. Leaftan. I get it. He held his hand out to me. It's only fair, I guess. I'm behind you. I'm sorry it's ending like this for us, Leaftan. Not me, Eri. I'm just sorry that everything is my fault. You've more than paid your debt. I glanced at Valkyrian one last time. Valkyrian. My heart broken. Then at Miko, hoping she would be saved. I don't hope that, but Valkyrian. My very last thought is for Nevra. I really wish I could have said goodbye to him. I laid my hand on what was left of the crystal, and so did Leaftan. The crystal let off a blue glow where our palms touched it. The ground stopped shaking, or we were no longer feeling it. Everything went quiet and white. Everything was soft. Everything was calm. I sensed Leaftan's presence by my side. I felt at peace, untroubled. I firmly believed that nothing here could get to me or hurt me. I knew that the world of Eldarya was safe and sound. How did I know that? No idea, but I was absolutely sure of it. My thoughts drifted to the HQ inhabitants, the ones who had fought, those who had resisted, those who had acknowledged their errors and made amends. They were going to live, and I was thrilled about that, yet I wished I could have said farewell, or seen them one last time. I think you still have time for that. Leaftan? You can still go see them, but hurry up. I'm afraid time is running out. What? I focused on the ones I would have liked to talk to one last time. Looks like it worked, but Leaftan seemed to say that I didn't have much time. I have to hurry. What is going on? For the flowers, I pictured something simple and subtle. And elegant. Yes, how'd you guess? Those are literally the only 3 adjectives you've been using for months, ever since you started planning your wedding. Well, excuse me for being consistent in my taste. You're excused, but then don't be surprised that we know what you're going to say before you say it. You two are such pains. Individually, you were pains. But both of you at once, that's definitely something. Something simple, subtle, elegant. You two are unbearable. And yet so simple. So subtle. Eldarya burst out laughing. All 3 of them fell into each other's arms. I wish I could have hugged them too. Eldarya looked up in my direction. I don't know if she can see me or feel my presence. I wish Eri could have been here to see this. So do we, Ellie. So do we. Come on and look, Karuto. Come and look. What? What? Look at this. They were just brought to me. Yeah, so what? Is it some kind of vegetable? A vegetable grown here, in Eldarya. Tilda, I don't have time for companion food. I have an HQ to feed. Hold on. The farmer who brought me these said they were nutritious. What? Ha 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 ha. Come on, please stop. He told me this is all he'd been eating for several days. He was in good health. Karuto furrowed his brow. There's only one way to find out if what he says is true. Twilda pulled 2 knives and 2 forks out of her apron, smirking. Karudo's face lit up. It looks like Karudo and Twilda are getting ready for the future. I'd better leave them to it. Sorry to disturb you again. I don't know what's wrong with me these days. I guess I just need to talk, but everyone is so busy. And you don't think I'm busy at all? Forgive me, you do realize that's not what I meant. I'm joking. There are far fewer sick and wounded since the crystal's been refurbished. Besides, maybe it's because you prefer talking to me. I guess so, yes. You've been so comforting. I'm glad everything's going much better. Life is much more peaceful than it was. But you miss Eri. I get it. I miss her too. They hugged each other. I didn't want to let them know I was there, so I wouldn't spoil the moment. Are you sure about your decision, Miko? For the 100th time, yes, Kero. My place is no longer here. Lots of things have changed since, and lots of things are still going to change. I have to continue my own journey. Sigh. I don't know who's going to take over after you, Miko, but you set very high standards. Thanks, Kero. I stepped towards Miko without really knowing what I was hoping, yet she turned to face me. She grinned slightly, and a tear rolled down her cheek. What's going on, Miko? For fun, I sent some papers on Kero's desk flying. He looked at Miko, who smiled at him, nodding with teary eyes. If that's really you, Eri, thanks for everything. We miss you. I sent another paper flying so they'd know I had heard them. Chimeria is sitting on the ground, between her legs. She's holding the pot that's usually strapped on her back. Inside, her young sprout has already perked up again. It's several inches tall. Chimeria waters it cautiously with a little watering can. There you go, gorgeous. That'll help you grow up nice and tall. You were thirsty, weren't you? I didn't have time to give you a drink on the way. Jimon and Kalaya are seated side by side on the rim of the fountain. Is something bothering you, Jimon? It be a long time that Eri not here. Me much like Eri. Sad that she no more here. Kalaya took his hand. I'm touched that Jimon misses me. She was a good person. Fuck you. Not an outstanding warrior, but a strong-willed and brave girl. Now there's someone who is just as straightforward as ever. Thanks. And she did a lot for this world. For someone who was an outsider, I can understand why you miss her. I wish I had gotten to know her better. Me miss Eri. Oh. Kalaya gave the ogre a hug and patted his back. I should leave them alone. Oh no, no, I don't want to see this one. It's too sad. Nevra and Israel are deep in conversation with the Pericos. I can trust you, right? You deliver all the luggage to a designated location. We're paying you enough for that. Israel is going, but I'm staying. If he sends me a message to tell me he didn't get his luggage, you'll have to deal with me. The Pericos nodded cordially and went their separate ways. Thanks for coming along, buddy. Don't mention it. It's normal, Iz. I'd rather you stay. We already discussed it. I can no longer stand this place, with the crystal being... Let me finish. I'd rather you stay, but if you want to leave, I want to do everything in my power to make sure you leave as light-hearted as possible. Thanks, Nevra. If I listened to myself, I'd do the same as you, but I don't want to leave Karen alone. She's not exactly alone. All the more reason I have to keep an eye on Chrome, and with Miko leaving, it's a good idea for one of us 3 to stay. Israel nodded. So, is it time for the teary farewells? They hugged, both trying to hold back their tears to no avail. I'm going to miss you, Israel. Me too. I'm going to miss you. They finally let go of each other. Have a good trip, Iz. Have a good trip, Iz. Nevra lay down on my bed and stared at the ceiling for quite a while. Eri, I keep hoping that one day you'll hear me. I go to see you every day at the crystal. No one really knows whether you can hear me or not when I talk to you over there. So I talk to you here too. Who knows, maybe. Shintan had followed him and lay down at the foot of the bed, after wandering around the room for a while, as if searching for something. Eri, I need some kind of sign. Anything. I leaned in close to Nevra and placed a kiss on his lips. It seemed to me he had felt it. He acted like he was kissing me back, but his lips encountered nothing but air. He smiled. I love you. I left the bedroom, heavy-hearted. I have one more person left to see, if only I can. Oh no, this is gonna make me cry. My feet led me to the cherry tree where Valkyon used to meditate often. Suddenly he appeared to me. The outline of his silhouette is blurry, but he definitely seems to be here. Oh no. Valkyon? It's me, Eri. I rushed towards him, but the only thing I encountered was air. We can no longer have any physical contact whatsoever. Slowly, I raised my hand to get as close as possible to his vanishing face. Wait, how? The crystal's power is great, and so is the power of the dragons. I can't stay long, but I still wanted to tell you not to regret a thing. I sacrificed myself knowingly. Everything was planned. What do you mean? The prophecy. I had to defeat Lance and lose my life. I also had to defeat him to find peace. I am at peace, Eri. Were you so sure the prophecy was talking about you? It applies to both of us. Lance defeated me too. He lost his soul, his way of thinking, his way of perceiving the world. He regretted his act as soon as he committed it. And he'll find peace once he learns to forgive himself for that same act, once he makes amends for his mistake, like Liftan. If you run into him again, don't be too hard on my brother, alright? If you run into him again, foreshadowing, I don't know if I can. You'll find the strength within you, I'm sure of it. I was very honored to have you as a friend, as a best friend. Oh, so sad. Please, the honor is all mine. You showed me the way. If I hadn't met you, I wouldn't have been half the man you made me. I wish it hadn't ended this way. The prophecy was proclaimed long before you were born. I fulfilled my destiny. I am happy you were part of it. I had a lump in my throat. One last thing before we go our separate ways. Try hard to be happy, Eri. I'm dead. How can I be happy? And know that I will always watch over you. Valkyon vanished without me being able to ask him for more details. A supernatural light starts blurring my vision. It's time for me to meet up with Liftan. I joined the crystal room, and Liftan, who was there. Did you have time to see everyone you wanted to? I wish I had had more time, but I'm no longer afraid for them. In that case, it's time to get going. I'll let you go ahead. I have one last little thing to deal with. One little thing? Trust me, you're not at any risk. I was going to unburden myself to the crystal when Liftan held me back. Eri, just one thing. Thanks for everything you did for me. Don't mention it. It was nothing. Yes, it was. You did a lot, and that matters more than anything to me. I'll meet you on the other side. Alright, see you later then. See you later. A moment later, everything was white and quiet. I gave in to the drowsiness. Alright. And then there was nothing. I hit a hard floor. What happened? By the oracle, that's impossible. Did someone see what happened? It was like a kind of... It's a miracle. She's awake. Someone go tell the leader of the guard. I was awake. I felt like I was awake, drawn out of a long, deep sleep. I opened my eyes. Very peculiar. Alright, I need a minute to gather my thoughts. Alright, well now that that's over, so many questions. What's going on? Where is Lance? That's probably the biggest question of all. And who is the new leader of the guard? So I guess those questions are going to be answered in the next season. I don't really know how to feel about the ending. I really did expect Erica and Liftan to die, for the crystal to be reborn, whatever you would call it, but Valkyon hit hard. I didn't want him to die, it's too sad. So that was the final episode of Eldarya, so I hope you enjoyed the video, even though it was very, very long, but yeah, it's all at an end now. That's it. So if you managed to watch this video right through to the end, thank you so much. Bye!